This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network Limited. We broadcast from our studios at 14 Ocean Boulevard in the Digicel Center, downtown Kingston, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band, 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James. Serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on YouTube and Nationwide 90 FM Live too. RevoNews.ai and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock. From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning. A very good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Tuesday, January 20, 2026. The DPP tells Noel Maitland's murder trial that everything they've heard points to him being the killer of his girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson. Young Jamaica fires the latest salvo in its war of words with Dr. Alfred Dawes over his true relationship with Jack Dunn. JPS says about 50,000 customers are still without power in parishes hit hardest by Hurricane Melissa. In regional news, gun amnesty announced in St. Lucia. In international news, Israel has begun bulldozing the headquarters of the UN's Agency for Palestinian Refugees in Gaza. In sports, the Junglists beat Firehouse in Ray and Nephew Premier League. And in business, Donald Trump doubles down, saying those countries who oppose his plan for Greenland will not escape tariffs. The details after the break.
Commercial spaces for you. Parks and attractions for you. Housing and residential developments for you. Beautiful rental properties for you. Improving quality of life through infrastructure development across Jamaica for you. The Urban Development Corporation, making development happen for you. Brought to you by the Urban Development Corporation.
UDC for you.
Catch the first news of the day. A comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. A jigsaw puzzle where none of the pieces are missing. They all fit together and points to Noel Maitland. That's how Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson summed up her closing arguments in the murder trial of the former police constable who's accused of killing his girlfriend, social media personality Donnelly Donaldson. He's also charged with the unlawful burial of her body, which has never been recovered. The DPP invoked scriptures as she framed her forceful closing argument to the jury inside the Supreme Court on Monday. Robin Williams reports.
Citing Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 to 19, the DPP told jurors that the Bible lists traits God hates, including pride, a lying tongue, hands that shed blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet quick to mischief, and sowing discord. Claudette Thompson urged the jury to view Noel Maitland's conduct through that lens. She linked the former police constable's actions from pointing fingers at others to calling the neighbor he claimed not to like to raising claims about miscarriages and sex on a balcony. She argued that his response to Donnelly Donaldson's disappearance was built on a deliberate strategy to deny, deflect, and dismiss. Pointing to the day Maitland went to the police station, the DPP reminded jurors that he arrived with the mother of his child, Kathiana Smith, a name first raised by the defense. Thompson said, "He's pointing fingers at someone else. The man wants to direct your attention to his baby mother." She stressed that investigators found no evidence linking Smith to the crime. The DPP said she didn't pick up Donnelly. She wasn't at her home. She wasn't seen at the car wash. She didn't call the truck driver, adding that police did not charge Smith because there was no evidence against her. She said Maitland himself introduced motive in his police statement, admitting to an argument rooted in his relationship with the mother of his child. Evidence showed Smith called him repeatedly on the morning of July 12. Thompson said, so Noel exposed a possible motive. The defense in their case had stressed that no blood was found at the car wash where the Crown said Maitland took his settee. DPP Thompson argued that when the police eventually went to the car wash on July 20, no blood remained because 7 days had passed and the area had been soaked with water, vinegar, and degreaser. She said nobody challenged the evidence that bleach, vinegar, and water was used. The Crown's case, she argued, is that blood was there, but by the time police learnt about the settee, it was gone. Thompson concluded, because Maitland didn't tell the police he took the couch to wash. Summing up the Crown's position, the DPP told jurors, deny, tell the lies, deflect, point to his baby mother, and then dismiss it. She then urged the jurors to ask themselves a series of unanswered questions. Where is the long couch? He took it out of the house. He carried it away. He should know where it is. She also questioned the disappearance of Maitland's iPhone. Where is the iPhone? Why is it that what was handed over to the police was the blue banger phone? The DPP poured cold water on the defense's character evidence, telling jurors that even Maitland's supervisor did not truly know him. She said, this policeman came here and didn't know about Donnelly or Kathiana. He didn't even know that Maitland was a father. The DPP argued that Maitland failed to act as a member of the JCF should when his girlfriend went missing. She told jurors, you have heard it all. You have seen the exhibits. You have the pieces, and the Crown's evidence points in one direction. A jigsaw puzzle where none of the pieces are missing. They all fit together. Thompson rested the Crown's case, urging the jury to return a verdict that is true and just and aligns with the evidence that they've heard thus far. The defense will present their closing arguments to the jury on Tuesday morning at 10. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
The youth arm of the governing JLP, Young Jamaica, is rejecting claims from opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, that he has no affiliation with Jack Den Pharma and Medical Services. Dr. Dawes made the claim in a post to his Instagram account in what he says was a response to persistent rumors about his involvement with the company. Reports on social media suggest that Jack Den is one of 4 private companies on whose behalf the University Hospital of the West Indies unlawfully imported items using its tax-exempt status. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
A report from the Auditor General revealed that the UHWI unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. According to Nationwide's sources, a prominent politician owns at least one of the 4 companies highlighted by the Auditor General. Screenshots then began to circulate on social media of Dr. Alfred Dawes being listed as a consultant at Jack Den Pharma and Medical Services on the company's official website. The company is owned by East Central St. Andrew Member of Parliament, the PNP's Dennis Gordon. The Auditor General's report highlights procurement and contract breaches and misuse of its tax-exempt status, totaling millions of dollars. Dr. Dawes said a failure of ministerial oversight was to blame for the issue. But in a statement, Young Jamaica hit back at Dr. Dawes, calling on him to publicly state whether or not he was affiliated with one of the companies referenced in the report as a beneficiary of the importations. That was last Friday. On Saturday, Dr. Dawes took to Instagram to deny his rumored affiliation with Jackden Pharma and Medical Services.
I have no affiliation with Jackden, but they knew this. A quick search at the company's office would have shown that I am not a director or shareholder, nor have I ever been listed on any company documents.
Dr. Dawes says his role was inaccurately represented by the website.
4 years ago, I was engaged to see whether or not I would provide medical services in my capacity as a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon at the facility. Those talks fell through. So whoever had my name up as consultant, they did not put my proper title. I not only did medical school for 5 years, I went on and I did postgraduate training, a PhD specialization in surgery. Then I went on to do a further specialization in weight loss surgery and minimally invasive or laparoscopic surgery. So therefore, I am a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon, and that is what should have been listed.
But Young Jamaica is again rubbishing his claims. In a statement on Monday, the group points out that on January 19, Dr. Dawes' image remained listed on Jackden's website as a consultant. It adds that his image appears under a heading entitled Meet Our Founders and Partners. Young Jamaica is of the view that in these circumstances, Dr. Dawes' move to distance himself from his PNP colleague's company cannot be believed as truth. According to Young Jamaica, Dr. Dawes' claims are not only not credible, but also untrustworthy. The group has renewed its call for him to publicly clarify whether a company owned by a PNP parliamentarian is among the companies alluded to in the Auditor General's report. The police fraud squad is investigating the breaches raised by the Auditor General. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Fewer than 50,000 customers of the Jamaica Public Service Company JPS remain without power since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The update was provided by the Light and Power Company on Sunday. JPS says customers who remain without power reside in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Hanover, St. James, Manchester, and St. Anne. It says of the 44,903 customers without power, the majority are in Westmoreland, 43%. St. Elizabeth followed with 40%. Trelawney had 12% of customers without light. JPS says within the last 24 hours, it has restored power to the police station and tax office in Darlaston Square and the Ferris Heights Digicel cell site in Westmoreland. It adds that power was also restored at the pump facility in Bogue. Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says there is a shortage of jobs for persons certified to work in the field of cybersecurity. He was reacting to the findings of the 2025 Cybersecurity Report by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the Organization of American States, OAS. It revealed that Jamaica has insufficient consultancy services for private and public organizations.
There is a lot being said when other international bodies look at talent in terms of vacancies that exist and the ability to fill them. The challenge we have is that while we have universities that turn out persons with cybersecurity skills and persons who do certification courses, many businesses and most of government does not have cybersecurity positions on their establishment. And so what you find is that the bigger companies, the Fortinets, etc., are able to get some of the consultancies that really ought to go to local persons in positions in these entities, but those positions don't exist.
The IDB report highlighted that Jamaica has made strides in improving its cybersecurity framework, but several areas were ranked level 1, including cybersecurity defense, national security, and marketplace. Level 1 means the country was still at a startup stage at the end of 2025. According to Sterling, this poses another challenge.
When you look at the companies that provide cybersecurity services in Jamaica, there are very few. And these few, they're not very established. And so to break into the market, so when you have a Fortinet that has been providing firewalls. Over time, there is a relationship that is developed between the client and the supplier. And when they say, look, we will do your cybersecurity, it's an easier sell than a local company trying to say, look, we have trained people, we have the talent, we are here to provide the same services, and we keep your data here.
Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team. Marketing strategist Joel Namdarkam says companies must establish guidelines for their employees on what conduct is appropriate on social media platforms. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday.
These entities, and it's not just JCF because of the subject now, but entities need to be very clear about what type of content they want to represent them online. For those, of course, the social media teams will be privy to create the content and get approval and put it out. But other employees who may want to create the same, and what are the guidelines? And that's where the argument starts and stops. Once you make it to digital, you are you. And as an employee of an organization, no matter what, at the end of the day, you'll still be a representative of that place until you announce that you've changed or you have moved on to somewhere else.
Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that senior officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, acted outside their legal powers in sanctioning a woman constable twice over her involvement in a social media video while in uniform. The video, which featured 3 JCF members, was posted on TikTok in January 2024. At the time, it was found to be in breach of the JCF's social media policy. All 3 pleaded guilty to breaching the policy and bringing the JCF into disrepute during internal hearings held in February and March 2024. Namdarkam says public servants must be responsible in their social media posts.
There's an added responsibility where, for instance, if I'm working at a bank or if I'm working at a renowned institution in a specific department that's always public facing because I decide to use my social media to show off where I work and the social impact I'm doing, and I'm at this meet and greet, I have taken a position to show that I'm affiliated here versus my other colleagues who don't use Facebook and nobody knows them working, so they don't really have much to speak about in the social space. So we have to understand that we do bear that responsibility, because then any little thing was scandalous, you have to hear say you will work this though.
Joel Namdarkam, marketing strategist. Meanwhile, attorney at law Carla Ann Harris Roper says there must be a balance in the personal and professional output of an employee.
I think it's a fine balancing act between making sure that the person is able to enjoy their freedom of expression on the one hand, but do not engage in activities on social media that exposes themselves and, more importantly, their employer to possible liability by their behavior and what they do and say, especially if it impacts negatively on the employer's business.
Carla Harris Roper, attorney at law. She was also speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday. 11 persons, 6 males and 5 females, lost their lives in 7 fatal crashes on the road between January 1 and 19 this year. That's the latest data from the Island Traffic Authority, ITA. This figure represents a 42% reduction compared to the corresponding period in 2025. 7 of the 11 persons killed were private motor vehicle passengers. The other 4 fatalities consist of a pedestrian, a pedal cyclist, and 2 private motor vehicle drivers. Of the 11 fatalities, 5 occurred in St. Elizabeth following 2 crashes. 2 fatalities took place in Trelawney, while the other 4 took place in St. James, St. Anne, St. Andrews South, and St. Catherine South. The ITA says failing to keep to the near side or to the proper traffic lane is the cause of the majority of fatal crashes so far in 2026. Proceeding at excessive speed with no regard to conditions is also recognized as a cause of crashes. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:18.
With the Accucheck Instant Blood Sugar Monitor, checking your numbers is fast, simple, and accurate. And now it's even easier. The target range indicators instantly show if your numbers are within range, so you can take action. Plus, enjoy lifetime warranty on your meter and batteries, and support from our attention center. Because when it comes to your health, every number matters. Accucheck Instant. Know your numbers. Stay in control. Available in pharmacies island-wide, exclusively distributed by Lasco.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, the police in St. Lucia have launched a gun amnesty program as authorities seek to curb gun violence across the country. It took effect on Monday and will run until Friday, January 23. A second period will be activated from January 26 to 28. During the periods, firearms and ammunition may be surrendered between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. at police stations across the island. Assistant Commissioner of Police Luke de Freitas says the amnesty is intended to give criminals a final opportunity to surrender illegal firearms and ammunition before an intensified crackdown. He says it's part of a broader push towards a zero-tolerance approach to illegal guns. Assistant Commissioner de Freitas cautions that the amnesty is not a get-out-of-jail-free card. He says that the weapons will be subject to ballistics testing and warns that charges will be laid in connection to crimes uncovered. St. Lucia recorded 70 murders in 2025. That's its lowest tally in 5 years. International Israeli crews on Tuesday started bulldozing the Jerusalem headquarters of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. The move follows a ban in 2025 on the organization that delivers humanitarian services to millions of people across the region. Israel has long accused the United Nations Relief and Works Agency UNRWA of collaborating with Hamas, a charge it denies. UNRWA said on X that Israeli forces had confiscated staff devices and forced them out of their headquarters. It says it's an unprecedented attack that constitutes a serious violation of international law and the privileges and immunities of the United Nations. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
This season is the time. Digicel is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, gift a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digicel is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Time now for your morning sports, and we begin with some football news. Arnott Gardens beat Waterhouse 1-0 In their Red Nephew Jamaica Premier League clash at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex on Monday night, Shea Smith bagged the winner just past the hour mark for the Junglists to move into a share of fourth on 25 points, the same as Chapelton Maroons. In the first match of the doubleheader, Nicholas Nelson hit a hat-trick as Malines United outscored Tivoli Gardens 3-2. At the wickets now, Jamaica won their first match at the CWI T20 Blaze Women's Cricket Tournament on Monday night, beating the Windward Islands by 7 wickets at Arnessville. The Windwards first made 99 for 7 in their 20 overs. Captain Janelia Glasgow was left not out on 47. The Jamaicans, who were beaten in their 3 previous outings, replied with 100 for 3 in 16.5 overs. They play their final game of the preliminary round against Trinidad and Tobago on Wednesday at the same venue. President of the Jamaica Olympic Association, JOA, Christopher Samuda, is singing the praises of Jamaica's winter sports athletes following another milestone on the road to the 2026 Winter Olympic Games in Milano, Cortina. The Jamaica Bobsled and Skeleton Federation has successfully secured 3 Olympic quota positions, matching the country's level of participation from the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics and reaffirming Jamaica's standing as one of the most consistent tropical nations in winter sport. The qualified sleds include women's monobob, Micah Moore, men's 2-man bobsleigh, pilot Shea Pitter with crew members Nimroy Turgot, Joel Ferron and Junior Harris, and men's 4-man bobsleigh with pilot Shane Pitter, crew members Andre Dacres, Junior Harris, Taekwondo Tracy, and Joel Ferron. In addition to the bobsleigh success, Jamaica has also secured qualification in alpine skiing. Henry Rivers has officially qualified to represent Jamaica in the slalom, while his triplet sisters, Helena and Henia Rivers, are also in strong contention and remain close to achieving Olympic qualification. Samuda credited the athletes' achievements to discipline, perseverance, and natural ability.
Our bobsled team continues to build a legacy, and our skier, Henry Rivers, one of the triplets who qualified last year, is now one of the youthful architects of future successes in winter sports. The JOA continues to be inspired by history makers, trailblazers, and our sporting ambassadors.
Samuda says this level of success does not happen by chance.
Commitment, hard work, and talent are measurements of success, and our bobsled team understood this, and now, with they qualifying for the Winter Games, they now have an opportunity to exemplify these attributes in Milano. Yet again, the call has been answered on ice, and the drive must now be to break the ice and get onto the podium, where history will yet again be created.
Christopher Samuda, wrapping up your morning sports.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? Geoland Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. Geoland Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
In business this morning, Donald Trump has vowed to 100% follow through on his threat to impose tariffs on European countries who oppose his demand to take control of Greenland. European allies have rallied around Greenland's sovereignty. Denmark's foreign minister emphasized the U.S. president can't threaten his way to ownership of the semi-autonomous Danish territory. UK Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper reiterated the UK's position that the future of Greenland is for Greenlanders and for the Danes alone to decide. On Monday, Trump declined to rule out the use of force and insisted he would press ahead with the threatened tariffs on goods arriving in the US from the UK and 7 other NATO allied countries. In the meantime, British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer says a trade war is in no one's interest after Donald Trump threatened to impose a 10% tax on imports from the UK and other countries who oppose his plans to take control of Greenland. Making a speech from Downing Street, Sir Keir said the right approach was through calm discussion and that the use of tariffs against allies was not the right way to resolve differences. He reiterated his belief that decisions about the island should rest with the people of Greenland and Denmark. He said a principle cannot be set aside, but vowed to take a pragmatic approach, emphasizing both the economic and military importance of the UK-US relationship. He said he did not believe Trump was genuinely considering military action against Greenland. While seeking to diffuse tensions, the Prime Minister stressed that the situation was very serious and said it was a moment for the whole country to pull together. In foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar has gained 4 cents and will open trading against the benchmark US dollar, selling for an average $158.26. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican has lost 84 cents and will open selling for an average $115.14. And finally, the Jamaican has lost 88 cents and will begin trading for an average $212.43 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:30.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Brazilians, coffee beans grow by the billions, so they've got to find those extra cups to fill. They've got an awful lot of coffee in Brazil. You date a girl and find out later she smells like a percolator. Her perfume was made right on the grill. They've got an awful lot of coffee in Brazil. No tea, or tomato juice, you'll see. No potato juice. All the farmers ain't nothing to say. Hey, hey. A politician's daughter was accused of drinking water and was fined a great big $50 bill. They've got an awful lot of coffee in Brazil.
sunshine day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day.
Everybody, do what you're doing. Your smile will bring a sunshine day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Your smile will bring a sunshiny day.
Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile will bring a sunshine day.
Where's the first man named King? Oh, see, the coffee song from that at Sunshine Day to Eddie Grant. Everybody was kung fu fighting.
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, thank you so much for coming on over and engaging with us this Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, January 20, 2026. Happy to have all my YouTubers, friends out there in Radioland. Good morning to you. Joining us from the app or from the website. Hello, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us here for NTM as you hop on over to the YouTube channel, Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. Ensure that you click the like button. I'm Tawna Thomas.
And I'm Carl Douglas, the singer of Kung Fu Fighting. Did I say Eddie Grant? I was thinking of Electric Avenue. But some beautiful songs to start us off. Some beautiful songs to start us off from Mr. King.
You should put that one down for later, Jeremy.
Yeah, Mr. King. You should put that. Tuck it in your top pocket.
Yes, man. Yes, man. I love that one as well. So in the What's on My Mind segment this morning, George, and my YouTubers, listeners, sometimes our experiences have to be shared on air because I have the microphone.
Mm-hmm.
So we can make a broader appeal for certain things to change. And I really pondered yesterday, George, on the state of customer service in Jamaica after my experience with a courier service. Now, I'm not saying customer service, for example, in foreign is perfect.
Yes.
But from my experience in general, while in the US, for example, I'll enter a store and I'm greeted with smiles and the usual, welcome to so-and-so.
Yes.
Or welcome to so-and-so. Let me know how I can assist you today,
Yes.
Do you need a shopping bag or a basket?
Yes.
You normally get that sort of greeting when you enter a store overseas. And very often in Jamaica, it's the opposite. The mean mugging faces when you enter a store, or the "we not have that," or "what you say you want again," is what you get from the workers. But yesterday added a whole other level of poor customer service for me in terms of my experiences in Jamaica. So I got in from work as usual, felt for a particular thing to eat, George, and decided to order it. I remember this particular courier, that company was the only one I saw listing the particular restaurant that I wanted the meal from. So I reached out to the company, and I've placed down the time stamps. So I reached out to the company at 4:12 p.m. They responded immediately. Good. I submitted my order at 4:13 p.m. Order processed at 4:20 p.m. At 5:48 p.m., my order had not arrived, and I got no updates from the company. I had to reach out asking for an update. And the response I got was, "Will do shortly." I responded, "Okay." At 6:46 p.m., I again had to prompt the company, "What's happening with my order?" That response that I got, "The bearer currently has your order. He's doing some drop-offs. He will be with you," keyword, "shortly."
Shortly.
Between that time and about 8:45 or
What?
so, when I retired to bed, George.
Well, now, what time the initial order was placed? Go back again.
4:12 p.m.
4:12. Are you going to sleep?
That's when my interactions with the company started. But my order was processed at 4:20 p.m.
Uh-huh. Are you going to bed what time?
About 8:45.
So 4 hours and 25 minutes later?
At 8:45 or so, when I retired to bed, no updates from the company, no text messages, no calls, nothing. Of course, I made myself a meal at a certain time in the evening when I realized, okay, this not gonna go on. Yeah. And I had already taken my mind off the order. Do you know, George and listeners, YouTubers, that I woke up this morning to 3 missed calls from the company? One at 9:40 p.m. Oh my God. And they call again twice at 9:53 p.m. You tell me now. So what did you 4 hours and change?
No, 5 hours.
5 hours. 5 hours, right,
yes.
5 hours. The company was showing up to my apartment with the order at like 9:40, 9:53 with the order. I fell asleep.
But of course.
I ate something else and I went to my bed. And I'm saying, George, even if I had answered the phone call, I'm not going outside. I do not want the order anymore. You know, 5 hours have passed. I think this is just very, very unacceptable customer service. I've never experienced anything like this before. It was my first time interacting with the company.
Then which company? No thought of me have to ask.
I will name them.
Of course.
I will name them. And I'm saying I'll never order or interact with that company again because I'm pulling up the name of the company because the text messages are here. Yeah. But I'm saying the proper thing to do is to reach out, okay, there's a traffic delay or whatever other reason why there might be a delay with the courier. You're supposed to reach out and say that. You're supposed to provide your customer with updates. Why is it I, as a customer, have to be reaching back out to you to prompt you, hey, what's happening? It's been a couple hours. Is the order still coming? What's happening with my food? Nobody says nothing. And then even after you call 3 times, I'm asleep. I miss those calls, whatever. You don't send me a message to say, Ms. Thomas, I'm apologizing for the extended delay, an explanation as to what happened. And how you can make it up to me. Yes. Because you don't know if me gone on my bed hungry or whatever, what if I didn't have anything else in my house to prepare a meal or whatever. Nothing was said. All I'm seeing on my phone, 3 missed calls. Nothing more from this company. And I'm saying, is this the general interaction with other customers? Because I did my due diligence as well, I did go on their accounts and I looked in the messages to see how customers were reacting. It's a fairly new company, but customers seem to, be having good engagements with the company. Yes. I said, okay, fine, let me go ahead and make the order. But my God, 5 hours. Next stop, Courier JA. You did me bad yesterday. Bad. Next stop, Couriers JA. Unacceptable.
I'll say this to the people running Next Stop Courier JA. This is not the usual way that people, because of my grief, whatever little thing, a little simple misunderstanding, and they call you out. You heard what Tawna said. 5 hours before she retired to bed. And you still hadn't come. Well, 4 hours before she retired to bed, you still hadn't come good. You called her an hour after that. And there was no message, no contrition, no apology, nothing. What we're saying to you this morning is that you need to do better. We're not telling people to not support you. We're not telling you to shut down and go try decking or something. What we're saying to you, is that you must do better.
Yes.
In this business of customer service, especially in an environment where people have options. And although the customer service is bad around the horn, Tona, the fact is that there are some companies who do right by people.
Oh, absolutely.
There are some companies who try very hard. That we can assume, Tona, was a lack of effort because the person taking the orders and coordinating between your order and the person who's supposed to deliver the food, buy the food, deliver the food, that person dropped the ball significantly. And I'll say this to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes the proprietors of these companies don't know that this is how employees are running their companies. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are many cases where we talk about bad customer service and the proprietors have a conniption because they must say, what? My company? That's what the employee did? So all of that rolled in. So Tana, you have a right to be aggrieved and you have a right to call out what the company's name. Next
stop, Couriers JA.
Yes, you have to do better.
You have to do better, man. You have to do better. Whatever is happening with your personnel, wherever there is, a lapse in communication between who's taking the order, the delivery people, whatever is happening there needs to be sorted out quickly. And I hope this was just me alone.
I hope you.
And
yeah.
You don't have a wide, way more of your customers experiencing something like this because you're not going to stay long in business if this is the case. But there is lots of room now to go back and rejig what you guys are doing so that you can improve and the general culture of your personnel as well, how they interact with their customers, that as well. Because there are people, I went to, was it Nero? In relation to my national ID, just putting a good highlight out there as we close. Wonderful customer service, from you enter the building to get your national ID, you're greeted with a smile. People are warm. They want to serve you. They're happy for you to come in and get your national ID. And there are so many other good stories out there of customer service. But in the main man, you will hear people complain about poor customer service in the country. I say this morning to the people who are the supervisors, the owners of companies, you go in one day and probably serve the food as well.
Take the calls,
interact with your customers and hear what they're saying about the customer service that they're receiving when you're not there, when you're not supervising and keeping an eye over what is happening in the place. And trust me, you'll hear some things about how you need to go ahead and improve the culture of customer service in your company. Because some places it's really bad. You're throwing off customers and you're pushing away customer loyalty, and you don't want that.
If you were using a candle to cook cow food, it would have cook in at the time. It take the people them for call the box say the order reach. No, it's next stop JA.
Yeah.
You have to do better. Please.
Operators of public passenger vehicles, the Transport Authority's motor vehicle inspection begins January 12. Get your vehicles inspected at any of the authorized facilities in preparation for the upcoming licensing period. The time by the Transport Authority is
6:47.
JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union offers financial solutions for every stage in your life: savings, auto loans, mortgages, and more. The Temperature by JPS and Partners Cooperative Credit Union, your financial partner for life, is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
Time now for Street Smarts 1 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, George. Good morning, Donna.
Casey Ludlow.
I'm so sorry about that experience. It is, I guess, common in a lot of areas, not only maybe food service, but many other areas.
Yeah, I see people talking about ministries here too.
It should have been, these things have to be inculcated from school days coming up. Because, and then they fit whose personalities, fit the different type of services. So I don't know, it's going to be a hard fix. Anyway, the traffic is what's happening here now, but if you're going through certain areas, you will have some challenges. I keep saying that area in the Ligonier area is going to be a little problem until they sort out that Wellington Drive. So coming through, it's really rough in some patches there, Wellington Drive along. To get onto Monroe Road, really rough. I see they're doing some work there. Otto Avenue, they're putting in the pipes, and it's still a challenge there. But in by and large, the Ligonier area is getting quite active as they make it from the Monroe Road side and also Olo Road side. And then as they go further down towards Olo Road, it's pretty good going all the way down to Olo Road. And going further on to the top of Mountain View, going down, but you're going to see a number of vehicles coming up from off the Winwood Road, but it has not yet peaked. But remember, the high school, the Excelsior, and the Excelsior Primary, Mountain View Primary, along that space. Well, Upper Elliston Road, Lower Elliston Road, all these areas, Winwood Road, busy, but no problems, no delays in that particular area. They make your way to downtown Kingston. Hero Circle coming down into the Crossroads area. Look out for that in the area where you have the high school again for girls and boys, and the prep school along Connolly Avenue, and the boys' school there, and Nebraska Road coming down in the vicinity of Crossroads, all the way down to connect with Hero Circle. So these are the areas that we need to look out for. Other areas will be building, but as soon as the morning progresses. But right now, it's peaking at about maybe 7:15, 7:30 thereabouts. It's over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow there with Street Smarts 1. Let me put in an early birthday. Annalise says, help me wish my boy, Sean Christian Salmon, happy birthday. He's all of 17 today and a good kid. Mommy and the Sage Carter love you dearly. So Sean Christian Salmon, 17 years old today. Country people that say, yeah, ton man. Yeah, your mama says you're a good kid. And she says both herself and the Sage Carter love you dearly. So happy birthday, Sean Christian Salmon. Word of the day? Your word of the day is spelled K-R-U-M-M-H-O-L-Z, spelled K-R-U-M-M-H-O-L-Z.
Krumholtz. Krumholtz. Krumholtz.
Krumholtz is your word of the day. Krumholtz, it's a noun and it means a forest of stunted trees near the timberline on a mountain. Krumholtz is your word of the day, meaning again, a forest of stunted trees near the timberline on a mountain. And to use Krumholtz in a sentence, we hiked through the dense, wind-battered Krumholtz near the mountain's tree line. Krumholtz, your word of the day. Let me say this morning quickly, a very good morning to Dalton Harrison. So one of our callers got in touch with me and asked me if I would be interested in some vinyl records. Another one, yeah. Yes. So after a few failed attempts because of timing and everything and schedule, I ran up to his house yesterday to collect them, and we had a very good conversation. He's 73, fit as a fiddle. Oh, lovely. Yeah, man. So I said to him when I walked onto his veranda, I said, the only other people I know who are Harrisings are the outstanding producers, David and Craig from Daseka. You know them? I said, know them. I'm a son them. Oh, wow. Wow, look at that. Yeah, so they're the father of the Daseka boys. That. Yeah, man. So we had a very good conversation. When I told him, say, Master Dalton, I forgot work. So I want to say good morning to him and his lovely wife. Thank you very, very much. I think he has been married for 48 years. Oh, wonderful. That's a long? Yeah, man, a long time, man. That's fabulous. The man have stories for days. I would imagine. Yeah, so that's fabulous. He was telling me about being when he was up
in his 20s, a callow youth of about 21, that he was working at this place, and one of the guys invited him home, so he went into one of the garrisons and going at this big yard and man the Maliko and chalice. So he said they passed it to him, man, because, he must take a tat. So him say, after that though, they were playing Ludi.
Yes.
So him say, one of the man threw the dice, and when the man threw the dice, him duck and take cover, because to him the dice look like two big stones.
Wow. You sure he only took a little draw?
So he said he lived in Windward Road. He took a bus to go to Windward Road. He says when he realized the conductor was shaking him, said, "Brethren, the bus empty or reach at the terminus and I alone upon the way I go." So he says he came off Windward Road.
Oh my goodness.
So he said, man, look, because him last.
Yeah.
Him say, him see one side. Him say when he realized in there, Mona.
Oh my gosh.
Him say, never
again.
again. Dalton Harrison, good morning to you, sir. All the
Good
best
morning
to
to you. Take a break now for features at the top of the hour, the news.
Pumpkin is a powerhouse food that is low in calories and high in many health-promoting phytochemicals. Commonly thought of as a vegetable, but according to botanists, pumpkin is a fruit. In Food for Thought today, 6 benefits of eating pumpkins. This stunning squash is considered a superfood, a title typically reserved for natural foods that are nutrient-dense but low in calories. Here are some of the known health benefits of consuming pumpkin. Pumpkins are good for the eyes. They are rich in vitamin A, which is good for the vision and strengthening of the immune system. A cup of pumpkin can provide over 200% of your daily recommended intake of vitamin A. It also contains lutein and zeaxanthin, compounds that protect the eyes from age-related macular degeneration and cataracts. Pumpkins are healthy for the heart. Pumpkins are high in potassium, which is key for heart health. A cup of pumpkin contains 16% of your daily recommended amount of potassium, and it's also packed with heart-healthy vitamin C, fiber and antioxidants, which can help regulate blood pressure, which could also prevent heart disease. Pumpkins boost the immune system. A serving of pumpkin provides 19% of the recommended daily allowance of vitamin C, an immune booster that helps reduce cell damage from free radicals. Pumpkin also packs a punch when it comes to other immunity-strengthening antioxidants, which include vitamin A, vitamin E, and iron. Pumpkins have cancer-fighting carotenoids. Carotenoids are plant pigments produced by yellow, orange, and red plants like pumpkins, carrots, squash, and tomatoes. Carotenoids combat the effects of free radicals in the body, which may help protect against certain types of cancer. Pumpkins can help protect the liver. The liver has more than 500 functions, including breaking down fat, protein, and carbohydrates, removing harmful compounds from the bloodstream, and storing essential vitamins and nutrients. Eating a diet of fruits, vegetables, and antioxidant-rich foods like pumpkin can help support proper liver function. That's all because of pumpkin's primary antioxidants like vitamin C and beta-carotene. The body converts the latter into disease-fighting vitamin A. And pumpkin supports glowing skin. If you're on that everlasting journey of clear skin, pumpkin may be your new best friend. Raw and cooked pumpkin provide an excellent source of vitamin A and a good source of vitamin C. Both of these nutrients are great for skin health, softening and smoothing dry patches, and also includes beta-carotene, which has antioxidant properties to reduce inflammation and fast-track wound healing. You can have it on its own or add it to your smoothie, yogurt, or in your punch. So boil, roast, or puree some pumpkin today. That's it for Food for Thought. Until next time.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
These are some of the informal channels of communication. There are 4 main advantages of the informal channels of communication. This is Lifestyle Pages on the advantages of the informal channels of communication. First is speed, which is a most remarkable characteristic of this type of communication. It is fast because there are no lines or barriers, so no one can stop its free flow to seek out top management right down to the leader and the lowest level of employees. Feedback to this channel can reach all the levels of the hierarchy within the organization than through the formal lines of communication. It has a third function in that it works as a supplementary or support channel of communication in an organization. Good managers sometimes use the informal channel or the grapevine to their benefit to transmit information. The fourth advantage of the grapevine is that it is established and developed by employees within the organization. It brings most co-workers closer together and gives them immense satisfaction, sometimes leading to deep friendships and camaraderie. I'm Valerie, and those were Lifestyle Pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
Jamaica, let's make road safety a priority. Slow down, stay focused. Remember, every life matters. The time brought to you by the JIS is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
One nation, one purpose. To rebuild stronger than before. Build it to last with tools and equipment from National Supply. The temperature by National Supply is...
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news at 7 today, Tuesday, January 20, 2026, the DPP tells Noel Maitland's murder trial that everything the jury has heard points to him being the killer of his girlfriend, Donnelly Donaldson. Young Jamaica fires the latest salvo in its war of words with Dr. Alfred Dawes over his true relationship with Jack Den. JPS says about 50,000 customers are still without power in parishes hit hardest by Hurricane Melissa. And in international news, Israel has begun bulldozing the headquarters of the UN's Agency for Palestinian refugees in Gaza.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. A jigsaw puzzle where none of the pieces are missing. They all fit together and point to Noel Maitland. That's how Director of Public Prosecutions Claudette Thompson summed up her closing arguments in the murder trial of the former police constable who's accused of killing his girlfriend, social media personality Donnelly Donaldson. He's also charged with the unlawful burial of her body, which has never been recovered. The DPP invoked scriptures as she framed her forceful closing argument to the jury inside the Supreme Court on Monday. Robian Williams was there.
Citing Proverbs chapter 6, verses 16 to 19, the DPP told jurors that the Bible lists traits God hates, including pride, a lying tongue, hands that shed blood, a heart that devises wicked plans, feet quick to mischief, and sowing discord. Claudette Thompson urged the jury to view Noel Maitland's conduct through that lens. She linked the former police constable's actions from pointing fingers at others to calling the neighbor he claimed not to like to raising claims about miscarriages and sex on a balcony. She argued that his response to Donnelly Donaldson's disappearance was built on a deliberate strategy to deny, deflect, and dismiss. Pointing to the day Maitland went to the police station, the DPP reminded jurors that he arrived with the mother of his child, Kathiana Smith, a name first raised by the defense. Thompson said, "He's pointing fingers at someone else. The man wants to direct your attention to his baby mother." She stressed that investigators found no evidence linking Smith to the crime. The DPP said, "She didn't pick up Donnelly. She wasn't at her home. She wasn't seen at the car wash. She didn't call the truck driver," adding that police did not charge Smith because there was no evidence against her. She said Maitland himself introduced motive in his police statement admitting to an argument rooted in his relationship with the mother of his child. Evidence showed Smith called him repeatedly on the morning of July 12. Thompson said, so Noel exposed a possible motive. The defense in their case had stressed that no blood was found at the car wash where the Crown said Maitland took his settee. DPP Thompson argued that when the police eventually went to the car wash on July 20, no blood remained because 7 days had passed and the area had been soaked with water, vinegar, and degreaser. She said nobody challenged the evidence that bleach, vinegar, and water was used. The Crown's case, she argued, is that blood was there, but by the time police learnt about the settee, it was gone. Thompson concluded, because Maitland didn't tell the police he took the couch to wash. Summing up the Crown's position, the DPP told jurors, deny, tell the lies, deflect, point to his baby mother, and then dismiss it. She then urged the jurors to ask themselves a series of unanswered questions. Where is the long couch? He took it out of the house. He carried it away. He should know where it is. She also questioned the disappearance of Maitland's iPhone. Where is the iPhone? Why is it that what was handed over to the police was the blue banger phone? The DPP poured cold water on the defense's character evidence, telling jurors that even Maitland's supervisor did not truly know him. She said, this policeman came here and didn't know about Donnelly or Katiana. He didn't even know that Maitland was a father. The DPP argued that Maitland failed to act as a member of the JCF should when his girlfriend went missing. She told jurors, you have heard it all. You have seen the exhibits. You have the pieces, and the Crown's evidence points in one direction. A jigsaw puzzle where none of the pieces are missing. They all fit together. Thompson rested the Crown's case, urging the jury to return a verdict that is true and just and aligns with the evidence that they've heard thus far. The defense will present their closing arguments to the jury on Tuesday morning at 10. Robian Williams for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Robian. The youth arm of the governing JLP, Young Jamaica, is rejecting claims from opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Alfred Dawes, that he has no affiliation with Jacqueline Pharma and Medical Services. Dr. Dawes made the claim in a post to his Instagram account in what he says was a response to persistent rumors about his involvement with the company. Reports on social media suggest Jacqueline is one of 4 private companies on whose behalf the University Hospital of the West Indies unlawfully imported items using its tax-exempt status. Mahiri Stewart has that story.
A report from the Auditor General revealed that the UHWI unlawfully used its tax exemption status to import goods for at least 3 private companies. According to Nationwide's sources, a prominent politician owns at least one of the 4 companies highlighted by the Auditor General. Screenshots then began to circulate on social media of Dr. Alfred Dawes being listed as a consultant at Jacqueline Pharma and Medical Services on the company's official website. The company is owned by East Central St. Andrew Member of Parliament, the PNP's Dennis Gordon. The Auditor General's report highlights procurement and contract breaches and misuse of its tax-exempt status, totaling millions of dollars. Dr. Dawes said a failure of ministerial oversight was to blame for the issue. But in a statement, Young Jamaica hit back at Dr. Dawes, calling on him to publicly state whether or not he was affiliated with one of the companies referenced in the report as a beneficiary of the importations. That was last Friday. On Saturday, Dr. Dawes took to Instagram to deny his rumored affiliation with Jacqueline Pharma and Medical Services.
I have no affiliation with Jacqueline, but they knew this. A quick search at the company's office would have shown that I am not a director or shareholder, nor have I ever been listed on any company documents.
Dr. Dawes says his role was inaccurately represented by the website.
4 years ago, I was engaged to see whether or not I would provide medical services in my capacity as a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon at the facility. Those talks fell through. So whoever had my name up as consultant, they did not put my proper title. I not only did medical school for 5 years, I went on and I did postgraduate training, a PhD specialization
in surgery. Then I went on to do a further specialization in weight loss surgery and minimally invasive or laparoscopic surgery. So therefore, I am a consultant general laparoscopic and bariatric surgeon, and that is what should have been listed.
But Young Jamaica is again rubbishing his claims. In a statement on Monday, the group points out that on January 19, Dr. Dawes' image remained listed on Jack Den's website as a consultant. It adds that his image appears under a heading entitled Meet Our Founders and Partners. Young Jamaica is of the view that in these circumstances, Dr. Dawes' move to distance himself from his PNP colleague's company cannot be believed as truth. According to Young Jamaica, Dr. Dawes' claims are not only not credible, but also untrustworthy. The group has renewed its call for him to publicly clarify whether a company owned by a PNP parliamentarian is among the companies alluded to in the Auditor General's report. The police fraud squad is investigating the breaches raised by the Auditor General. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Mahiri. Fewer than 50,000 customers of the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, remain without power since the passage of Hurricane Melissa. The update was provided by the Light and Power Company on Sunday. JPS says customers who remain without power reside in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, Hanover, St. James, Manchester and St. Anne. It says of the 44,903 customers without power, the majority are in Westmoreland, 43%. St. Elizabeth followed with 40%. Trelawney had 12% of customers without light. JPS says within the last 24 hours it has restored power to the police station and the tax office in Darliston Square and the Ferris Heights Digicel cell site in Westmoreland. It adds that power was also restored at the pump facility at Bogue. Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team, Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, says there's a shortage of jobs for persons certified to work in the field of cybersecurity. He was reacting to the findings of the 2025 Cybersecurity Report by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, and the Organization of American States, OAS. It revealed that Jamaica has insufficient consultancy services for private and public organizations.
There is a lot being said when other international bodies look at talent in terms of vacancies that exist and the ability to fill them. The challenge we have is that while we have universities that turn out persons with cybersecurity skills and persons who do certification courses, many businesses and most of government does not have cybersecurity positions on their establishment. And so what you find is that the bigger companies, the Fortinets, etc., are able to get some of the consultancies that really ought to go to local persons in positions in these entities, but those positions don't exist.
The IDB report highlighted that Jamaica has made strides in improving its cybersecurity framework, but several areas were ranked Level 1, including cybersecurity defense, national security, and marketplace. Level 1 means the country was still at a startup stage at the end of 2025. According to Sterling, this poses another challenge.
When you look at the companies that provide cybersecurity services in Jamaica, there are very few. And these few, they are not very established. And so to break into the market, so when you have a Fortinet that has been providing firewalls over time, there is a relationship that is developed between the client and the supplier. And when they say, look, we will do your cybersecurity, it's an easier sell than a local company trying to say, look, we have trained people, we have the talent, we are here to provide the same services, and we keep your data here.
Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling, Director of the Jamaica Cyber Incident Response Team. Marketing strategist Joel Numdarkham says companies must establish guidelines for their employees on what conduct is appropriate on social media platforms. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday.
These entities, and it's not just JCF because of the subject now, but entities need to be very clear about what type of content they want to represent them online. For those, of course, the social media teams will be privy to create the content and get approval and put it out. But other employees who may want to create the same, and what are the guidelines? And that's where the argument starts and stops. Once you make it to digital, you are you. And as an employee of an organization, no matter what, at the end of the day, you'll still be a representative of that place until you announce that you've changed or you have moved on to somewhere else.
Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that senior officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, acted outside their legal powers in sanctioning a woman constable twice over her involvement in a social media video while in uniform. The video, which featured 3 JCF members, was posted to TikTok in January 2024. At the time, it was found to be in breach of the JCF's social media policy. All 3 pleaded guilty to breaching the policy and bringing the JCF into disrepute during internal hearings held in February and March 2024. Num Darkham says public servants must be responsible in their social media posts.
There's an added responsibility where, for instance, if I'm working at a bank or if I'm working at a renowned institution in a specific department that's always public facing, because I decide to use my social media to show off where I work and the social impact I'm doing, and I'm at this meet and greet, I have taken a position to show that I'm affiliated here versus my other colleagues who don't use Facebook and nobody knows to them working, so they don't really have much to speak about in the social space. So we have to understand that we do bear that responsibility, because then any little thing was scandalous, you have to hear say you will work this though.
Joel Num Darkham, marketing strategist. Meanwhile, attorney at law Carla Ann Harris Roper says there must be a balance in the personal and the professional output of an employee.
I think it's a fine balancing act between making sure that the person is able to enjoy their freedom of expression on the one hand, but do not engage in activities on social media that exposes themselves and, more importantly, their employer to possible liability by their behavior and what they do and say, especially if it impacts negatively on the employer's business.
Carla Ann Harris Roper, attorney at law, she was also speaking on Nationwide at 5. 11 persons, 6 males and 5 females, lost their lives in 7 fatal crashes on the road between January 1 and 19 this year. That's according to the latest data from the Island Traffic Authority, ITA. The figure represents a 42% reduction compared to the corresponding period in 2025. 7 of the 11 persons killed were private motor vehicle passengers. The other 4 fatalities consist of a pedestrian, a pedal cyclist, and 2 private motor vehicle drivers. Of the 11 fatalities, 5 occurred in St. Elizabeth following 2 crashes. 2 fatalities were registered in Trelawney, while the other 4 were recorded in St. James, St. Anne, St. Andrews South, and St. Catherine South. The ITA says failing to keep to the near side or to the proper traffic lane is the cause of the majority of fatal crashes so far in 2026. Proceeding at excessive speed with no regard to conditions is also recognized as a cause for the crashes. Overseas news now. Israeli crews on Tuesday started bulldozing the Jerusalem headquarters of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. The move follows a ban in 2025 on the organization that delivers humanitarian services to millions of people across the region. Israel has long accused the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, of collaborating with Hamas, a charge it denies. UNRWA said on X that Israeli forces had confiscated staff devices and forced them out of their headquarters. It says it's an unprecedented attack that constitutes a serious violation of international law and the privileges and immunities of the United Nations. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:17.
With the Accu-Check Instant Blood Sugar Monitor, checking your numbers is fast, simple, and accurate. And now it's even easier. The target range indicators instantly show if your numbers are within range, so you can take action. Plus, enjoy lifetime warranty on your meter and batteries, and support from our attention center. Because when it comes to your health, every number matters. Accu-Check Instant. Know your numbers. Stay in control. Available in pharmacies island-wide, exclusively distributed by Lasco.
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludlow McLean. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, George. Good morning, George. Again, to our listeners, our public, all our transport operators, land, air, sea, and all the stakeholders, the passengers or visitors. Yes, it's It's bright, but not really sunny at the moment. But just to tell you that those people are leaving out of like places like St. Thomas, different areas, community, Poor Man's Corner, and all of those areas, Bull Bay. You're going to have some delays there because the track has built and it's building all the way towards, and it's a make way along the Paul Bogle Highway. And this is westbound heading towards Harbour View, so you're going to have build-ups in the vicinity of the roundabout. If you're heading on to the Norman Manor Airport or Port Royal, not a problem. It's pretty good going there. So Florida Glasspool has some traffic, but it's moving. No major delays whether you're going east or west. And going towards Michael Manley Boulevard, it's also steady progress as they make your way along Port Royal Street. Windward Road, which is also Florida Glasspool Highway, is also steady, and it goes all the way out towards Victoria Avenue, then onto East Queen Street. Mountain View, the traffic has built up in a significant way, so you're going to have it a little bit heavy as you get closer towards the Excelsior area. Then going up by Ligony, it's all getting busy right now. Traffic coming on Olop Road and all these areas, going past Stanton Terrace, Lady Musgrave Road, and all of these areas. Waterloo Road also building, and also the road that runs parallel Kingsway. Half a Tree, quite busy from Constance Spring Road, Hope Road section, and coming up South Odin Avenue onto Constance Spring Road. These are the areas that are busy. But I remind you, work in progress along Seymour Avenue and on other areas, Wellington Drive, so be careful as you traverse, all right? The level of driving still remains a question. Well, I don't know if it's a question sign, but I hear Mr. Lewis, it is draconian suggestions, but believe me, especially George, the music, when they're playing that music, loud music, it tends to give off some reaction because the drivers I can't tell the beat of the music. They tend to drive and zigzag. And it's causing a problem on the road. So I'm wondering what is the correlation between that type of music and the way how the drivers drive. Mm-hmm. So it's not only drinking or smoking excessively and smoking, but there are so many other related factors or contributing factors as to the type of driving on the road. All right? And those are my concerns. And as usual, I want to say at Street Smart, your safety is our concern. It's over to you, George.
Thank you. Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow there with Street Smarts 2. Up next, front page. Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. (7:22) on this Tuesday morning. It's Tuesday, January 20, 2026. Again, a grand welcome to all of you listening to us on whatever medium you are listening to us on. Got a message from a grandmother in Westmoreland yesterday through her granddaughter who works on this property to say, tell Mas Jad, say me nah hear him down Westmoreland. The pay frying in the channel and me distressed. So the granddaughter dutifully reported it and followed through with me to find out if there was any change, because grandma need to know. And then she forwarded me a message, grandma saying, tell him say it come back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. So
oh, that's precious.
Indeed. Yes, indeed.
Listen, when they can't hear nationwide, complaints. And we take the complaints and we lodge them where they're supposed to be lodged. Because yesterday as well, George, my mom called me to say, listen, can't hear nationwide. And it's a part of their routine. It wakes them up. That's how they start their day and keep them throughout the day. So when they can't hear NNN, yeah, man, frustration.
That's right. And just before we go into the front page, you asked a question off air. Satana came in, listeners, and she said, George, if you were selected for jury duty, would you go? And I said, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. And you would go too?
I would too.
Yeah.
I would too. Yeah. And that's because of the conversation we're about to have on the front page this morning. Focusing on judge versus jury trials. Now, at least 3 local attorneys are cautioning the Holiness Administration against abolishing jury trials. Instead, they're calling for reforms to strengthen and modernize the jury trial system. The attorneys, Matthew Hyatt, Jacqueline Cummins, and Anne-Marie Furtado Richards, they were guests on the Jamaicans for Justice JFJ produced show, Let's Talk Justice, on Monday. Shaloy Smikle reports.
The call for judge-alone trials was again brought to the fore by the country's Chief Justice, Brian Sykes. Speaking at the opening for the Hillary term of the judicial year earlier this month, Sykes lamented that the dependence on jury trials continues to create backlog in the justice system. Speaking in Parliament last Tuesday, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck proposed a solution. The minister says a joint select committee will be established to examine whether jury trials should continue to be a feature of the court system. But speaking on Let's Talk Justice on Monday, Attorney-at-Law Jacqueline Cummings says that idea is the wrong fix.
12 or 7 persons is the best way to know whether one person is telling the truth or not. And when jurors retire to determine, the collective wisdom is usually better than a single person. We have a cultural propensity for delay. And that is the reason why we have had this backlog develop in our courts. And it is increasing now with this chokehold that the executive has placed on the judiciary, whereby a guilty plea, you don't get a lesser sentence on guilty plea in certain circumstances.
Fellow Attorney-at-Law Anne-Marie Furtado Richards agrees. Mrs. Richards, who is also chair of the Criminal Practice Committee at the Jamaican Bar Association, is instead proposing an expansion of the eligibility pool to serve as a juror.
Doing away with the jury system is not going to alleviate those issues. So what we are saying is that the persons who are qualified to become jurors, you can expand that. Also, we hear about the whole thing about civic duty. Persons are more easily willing to shy away from doing their civic duty. So again, introduction of civics in the primary level of school so that kids, when they grow up, they don't think of it as a burden, but rather that they're doing something for their country.
As it is now, serious crimes such as murder, rape, arson, and wounding with intent are all tried by a jury. Minister Chuck has proposed an increase in the stipend for jurors to further attract more people to jury service. Attorney-at-Law Matthew Hyatt believes the Joint Select Committee should think of other suggestions to overhaul rather than remove jury trials.
I'm in fear that the Parliament may meet, and yes, we may have a select committee set, and they may very well decide that, okay, to have this backlog cleared, we will just abolish the jury system. I welcome the increase, but it has to be a balancing exercise. You're not there to earn, really, but it is also part of your civic duty. But from 2,000, 6,000 per day, it is most welcome. I'm pretty sure the Minister and the Joint Select Committee will think of other avenues to ensure that potential jurors are in the court.
Shaloy Smikle for Nationwide News.
Thank you so much, Shaloy. For more reactions, we're being joined by Attorney-at-Law Lloyd McFarlane, Attorney-at-Law and Chairman of Jamaicans for Justice John Clark, and Defense Attorney King's Counsel Peter Champagny. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, Counsel. Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Tona. Good morning, George.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, all.
All right, so we have Lloyd, John, and Casey Champagny. Let's begin with you, Casey Champagny. How do you see these conversations that tend to occupy the minds of Jamaicans year after year about judge versus jury trials? Should we do away with jury trials?
Well, first of all, I am not so sure that it is the position of the Holiness Administration to abolish jury trials. I think what is going to happen is an examination of the system.
Yes.
But against that background, I join in my fellow colleagues the comments that were made recently about preserving the jury system. The fact of the matter is that we have in the past treated the jury system as a poor cousin. Why do I say that? I say that because, one, the stipend that has been allotted in terms of a juror is woefully inadequate. Thankfully, that is now being addressed. But there are other facets to the jury system that over years have been neglected. For instance, and this is a second point, even the facilities in terms of jury rooms and restrooms and lunchrooms in particular, to have this kind of insulation between the public and them, that is not a feature in terms of the infrastructure. There is also the issue in terms of the fines that are imposed when persons find all kinds of ways to avoid jury duty. It is woefully inadequate and low. And yes, there needs to be a public awareness campaign in terms of civics and in terms of generally just a public education exercise to underscore the importance of this very fundamental point. Tona, you made reference just now that if you are called to do jury duty, you would gladly do it. And I think that is because you have been in the courts and you have seen a number of instances where how fundamental that role is.
Yes.
So the point I wish to make essentially is this, and I think it was a noted and eminent barrister in England who made the point that once you remove juries, and justice becomes something that is justice rather becomes something that is done to the public rather than it being done by the public, being done by another system to the public. In other words, we have to ensure that it is preserved. And may I just add quickly, because I know you have other contributors, I am not saying that the jury system is the only way to go. I think what we have right now in terms of a hybrid system, judge-alone trials and jury trials, is the perfect combination, because there are some cases that will lend themselves to a judge-alone trial or is desirous for that as opposed to a jury trial, and the converse is also true. So that is my contribution in terms of the perspective in relation to the whole issue of jury trials.
We're going to take a break, and after the break, we'll get the opening perspectives from John Clark and Lloyd McFarlane.
Jamaica live good, yeah. I make we enjoy life, while we feel safe at night. Jamaica live good.
Jamaica, stop the killing and give up the guns. Just live good now.
The time brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace is
7:31.
For a limited time, Home International Limited is offering a special price on select Corian colors. You can't miss this. Choose Corian for your kitchen or bathroom countertops. Corian is durable, beautiful, and long-lasting, solid right through, and no sealing necessary. Visit us at 104 Constant Spring Road or telephone 876-755-1970 or 276-6448. Open Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
This season is the time. Digital is gifting smiles. Gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile. 64 people to win a grand prize. 250K to help you to gift a smile. Plus groceries and farming supplies. Keep your loved ones in mind. Gift a smile. Sharing the love from me to you. Samsung tablet video and your crew. Gift a smile, give a smile. This season, make sure everybody good. Digital is helping you to gift a smile, gift a smile, gift a smile.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. We're having a conversation following an announcement in Parliament by the Justice Minister. Delroy Chuck indicated that a joint select committee will be established to examine whether jury trials should continue to be a feature of the court system. Now, a jury consists of a group of citizens who have been selected to listen to the details of court cases and, based on the evidence, determine the guilt or innocence of someone who has been accused of an offense. Jury duty is an integral part of society, and it gives persons an opportunity to be active participants in the country's system of justice. I pulled up an article from JIS that says the selection process, according to the Jury Amendment Act 2015, 7-1 juries are made up of, I might be reading that wrong, but the jury are made up of persons who are registered taxpayers on the voters registration list. In addition, these individuals must be between the ages of 18 and 70, be a citizen of the Commonwealth, not involved in any trial before the resident magistrate's court, not be serving or have served a sentence of imprisonment of more than 6 months, have a TRN or national ID. And before the break, Casey Champagne, you were mentioning about the fines for neglecting jury duty. I'm not sure if it's the same, but this 2023 article from JIS puts it at $10,000, or you do community service. If community service is not done, then he or she may be fined $50,000 or imprisoned for 1 month. Welcome back to the program, gentlemen. To you, John Clark, what's your opening perspectives on this matter of whether we should do away with jury trials?
Well, for starters, if I understand the minister's statement correctly to the parliament yesterday, he announced that 2 important amendments were being made to the Jury Act. One, to increase the stipend, and the second, to essentially ensure that the issue that was identified in the Sean Campbell matter, as existed by the Privy Council, it now becomes a part of Jamaican law. The discussion now as relates to abolish or not abolish the jury trial, I didn't hear the minister quote it in that term. What I understood he said was that the Chief Justice had made certain utterances, and a joint select committee would examine it to determine the way forward. Now, in that determination, I hope that we as a country remember the true origin and function of jury. In the civil realm, jury trials are all but abolished, but in the criminal aspect, it continues to play a role in certain situations. As King's Counsel indicated earlier, we have in Jamaica almost a hybrid system. Now, one of the keys we often fail to mention in these discussions, in my view, is how the true origin started when, in the Middle Age, we would have not professional judges, but judges who are typically appointed by the king or the executive, and then the jury was an antidote to executive overreach to ensure ultimately the people had a say in the justice system. So that means we have popular justice rather than innate justice. So in some situations, if you remember in the Bible, we even have some utterances where the people said they wanted Barabbas, I hope I'm getting the name correct, rather than Jesus. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, the jury does have a role to play, in our jurisprudence in Jamaica. And I've heard everything that Council indicated on the JJ program. And one would hope that we would, in the Joint Select Committee, all those persons who are making those beautiful utterances on the program will participate actively, and we will find the right solution, because the Chief Justice himself had made some, what I say, valid points.
John? All right, we're having some issues with
I think Peter
John
Champagne
line.
got disconnected as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Lloyd, still on the line? All right, so I'm trying to make back contact with attorney at law Lloyd McFarlane, John Clark, and King's Counsel Peter Champagne.
Yeah, and it's a very important point that at least, well, the 2 counsel we've heard from so far mentioned, just to clarify that the Justice Minister didn't say we are going to abolish. The Chief Justice made some comments that the Justice Minister said the Joint Select Committee, or a Joint Select Committee, has been tasked to examine and come back with a set of recommendations. But it's not unreasonable to interpret that could be where we're going, which is why it is not incorrect or out of line to frame the discussion the way that we have framed it, because that's what people, we talk about, we want to hear from the real people who speak on these things every day. That's ultimately what they are wrestling with, whether or not a jury of your peers should be present in a panel to hear the details of your case and to determine on your guilt or innocence, or whether it should be left to a highly trained professional using their experience, leaning on the law based on what they're hearing, their own perspicacity, their own interpretation, to come to a verdict. It's which route to take, or protect the status quo, improve it, and run into the wind with it as the ever-present guide as to how we do this thing.
Yeah, and I see some comments here as we welcome our guests back. Orville is saying you get $1. Well, I think it's now being increased to $6,000 per day for jury duty, but you will be fined $10,000 to $50,000. Does this make any sense? Orville is asking, and then Orville says, I'll never participate in jury duty. And Seymour Swaby says jury trials best way to go. Welcome back to the program, gentlemen.
Thank you.
John, I think you were making a point when we lost you.
Yes, I was saying that the Pope, I think most historians would say that the modern iteration of the jury system can be linked to what Pope Innocent III had done in 1215, when ultimately in that period they abolished trial by ordeal, and they tried to ensure that the executive, the powerful decision, would have been essentially balanced by the involvement of the people. There is a role, and there will always be a role for the people, especially in very sensitive decision making, because and so one hopes in the Joint Select Committee that all the relevant factors will be examined and that we make an appropriate decision for our country. It is concerning, and has to be concerning, if one looks at recent developments, that certain issues that relate to jury trial will have caused persons to think that we should abolish the jury system without full understanding of the historical reasons why we have it in the first place.
And for you, Lloyd, what's the challenge here? Why is, this matter of jury trials such a spot of bother that year after year we keep coming back having a conversation about it, whether we should still go ahead with it, why there's an examination of issues now to see if there needs to be recommendations for us to keep it or do away with it? What are the bones of contention here?
Well, the Joint Select Committee has been set up mostly because our present Chief Justice, Justice Van Sykes, has been pushing for the abolition of jury trials in Jamaica. Now, I fully understand why the Chief Justice has been doing so. Essentially, our court has a great strain in terms of the backlog of cases, especially at the High Court level. And this backlog, people do not understand, severely affects the actual justice or quality of justice that is finally delivered, because a lot of cases are delayed, and of course we all know that you don't get justice when there's too much delay. The Chief Justice has become totally frustrated with this and has recognized that a part of the backlog, a part of the delays, is because we can't get jury trials done. Most of the times when we get to court and we look at the number of jurors that are available in the courtroom, it tends not to be enough, especially when you have a trial involving multiple defendants. So I understand his frustration. Furthermore, over the many years, certainly that I have been practicing, I am aware that the government has made several changes along the way to try to improve the number of jurors that will turn out. I understand the frustration. The difficulty is that if you abolish our jury trials, you are severely affecting the quality of justice that is delivered by our court. And I do not think that Jamaica, the sovereign nation, should be delivering less quality justice than other jurisdictions. We should not be delivering less quality justice that is delivered in England or the United States or other Caribbean nations. We have to find a way to ensure that quality of justice continues to be delivered in Jamaica. When I practiced in New York many years ago in the 1980s, that was when I first found out that we could have a system
where the defendant, the accused person, has the option to go by judge alone. And to be very frank with you, in the years that I practiced, I eventually started to do matters by judge alone more than by New York juries, mostly because I was afraid of the racism that was there and that I felt I could get more justice from a judge alone trial. In Jamaica, when we developed the law to the extent where we have the option, the fact is, of course, that that option, that decision, is the client's decision, the accused person's decision. But the accused person will take into account the view or advice given by his or her lawyer. Since that option has been available in Jamaica, I have more often than not advised my clients to go by judge alone. But there are cases where it is important that it be done by a jury. It is significant that the DPP's office, when led by Paula Llewellyn, took the view that several matters should actually be done by jurors when the accused person sought to have the option of a judge-alone trial. This is difficult to understand, but she has expressed the view that this option was important to the DPP's office. So from both sides, it is clear that we should have the option maintained. Our parliament must find a way to improve the situation with persons coming out for jury duty to the extent where that option is allowed to be remaining.
Yeah. King's Counsel, here's the question then, though. If it is that you were to pull apart a panel of jurors and ask Jamaicans to pronounce on their capability and suitability to make a determination about someone's future where guilt or not is concerned, you'll find many of these individuals who the same Jamaicans would say, well, no, this person isn't worthy of being put in that awesome position. Especially when the juxtaposition is learned judge, decades of experience, schooled in the law and in life, who can make those decisions. And you put that professional adjudicator and determiner of fact against a random individual. How then is the perception to hold that having a panel of people who people may not regard, that panel can deliver superior justice versus a professional who is steeped in the law?
You made a statement, George, just now. Schooled in the law, schooled in this, and schooled in life. And it is a latter point that I wish to zero in on. You and I know, and we all know, that a little man on the corner can understand runnings, as they put it sometimes. Because of the judge's role and in terms of the occupation, they may not be so exposed to the day-to-day activities and not be able to appreciate certain slangs, certain nuances in terms of our culture as the average man. And that is why, George, for instance, as far back as I think in 1936, there was this case coming out, Ambard, I believe, against the Attorney General of Trinidad and Tobago, where it said that, justice must be allowed to be scrutinized by the ordinary person, ordinary reasonable person, and for us to determine what justice is. The fact of the matter is that I agree entirely with both counsel, but I think the mischief in the room is this. The jury system has never been given an opportunity to flourish in terms of the resources. The reason why there are backlogs insofar as the jury system is concerned is because of the lack of persons that turn out for jury duty. And there is either the lack of the political will or a lack of identifying what the issue is in terms of treating with that.
Yeah.
And I believe once you have public exercises in terms of education,
yes,
the increase in the fines in terms of persons who find flimsy excuses not to serve, and also, very importantly, the service of jury, the summonses. Presently how it is archaic. And we need to have a system where it is served at various institutions where it's easy to effect service.
But that's where I want to go in, John Clark. I know the break is upon me, but bear with me. As Casey Champagne has said, we've seen infamously now, the trial concerning Mario Dean and how long it took for a jury to be impaneled and the matter having to be moved because I don't want to say the police, but I'm tempted to say it. The persons responsible for serving the summonses, how they didn't do the job. And that's as classic a delay of game tactic as can be employed. So we've seen that happen. We've seen people get to jurors, attempt to bribe them, and the attempt is sufficient to overturn what the same jury finds in its consideration at the end of the trial. So with so many avenues to get to a jury, to dirty up the water, to delay the summons and the service of these summons, and the whole thing being prone to farce, why is it that we're struggling and straining to hold on to this thing?
If I may, there's a fix for that. There's a fix for that. John alluded to it just now in terms of the amendment that is before the Parliament, extracting what the Privy Council said in terms of another jurisdiction where once the judge recognizes that there is some tampering, he has the power to convert the trial into a judge-alone trial. That obtains in other jurisdictions.
Yeah, but that doesn't Casey.
The service of summonses. Yeah. What happens now? You have police wasting their time going to addresses that don't even exist anymore.
Yes.
A lot of waste of resources. Why not have a desk, for instance, at the tax office or at FLA, where as you come and you have to come to renew certain things, you are served with the summonses. It makes a lot of sense to me, and these are remedies that can be applied without any issue as to cost and that particular economic concern.
Where I wanted to ask, and the reason for opening up that line of the conversation is to say the things that we would prescribe as cures to the inefficient working of the jury system. Where can we take the best examples, adapt to them for our need, and may put the system on the right side it to actually function effectively?
We have it, George. We have it. And can I be frank about this?
Yes.
Your average Jamaican, especially on social media, is always overly critical of our judges. You hear that the judge is corrupt, unfounded, wild allegations against our judicial officers. They curse, they complain, and you hear that the judge is this and the judge is that. Well, I'm saying, put your money where your mouth is. You go and do jury duty. You are to do it, and once you fail in that obligation, there must be severe sanctions.
But I could hit back and say, if these persons were able to examine the individuals who make up the juries, they would say, I don't want that person determining my fate. I'd rather leave matters in the hands of the judge.
And that is why we have the best system. We have the best system. We have an election where you can go judge alone or jury. I think Lloyd mentioned the fact, though, that if one were to determine that they want to go, that is an accused to his counsel, that they want to do judge alone, then once the Crown objects to that, then the thing falls apart. I don't accept that should be the case. It should be a right that is exclusively reserved to an accused. You have brought him here. You must not have a say in terms of the modality of trial at all. That is my view, and that is something that I think the Joint Select Committee of Parliament will have to also look at in its assessment of this subject matter.
Pause for breath, gentlemen. Let's take a quick break and come right back. This is Nationwide This Morning.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612-5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
7:52.
Hawkeye expresses heartfelt sympathy to all Jamaicans impacted by Hurricane Melissa. As we recover together, we remain committed to securing what matters most. The temperature by Hawkeye is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 24 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 19 degrees Celsius in Mandeville.
Yo, check this out. This is Ding Dong Ravers, one of your patrons for the Sagicor Sigma Run 2026.
And this year, we are bringing out the best as we run, walk, and wheel for the West.
Hi, this is Lisa Hanno, and I'm proud to be a patron for this run in aid of funds to repair and rebuild schools damaged by Hurricane Melissa.
Hey, Public Civil here. I spent my whole life trying to make records, but this record is going to be special.
We're aiming to raise a record $150 million for children in the West.
Well, everybody come jump up, lace up, wheel up. Donate some money, everybody sign up. We are run for the West.
Sign up now at SagittariusSigmaRun.com.
In times of loss, sharing information matters. Nationwide 90 FM offers professional obituary announcements, ensuring family, friends, and communities are informed with care and dignity.
It's been a long day.
Obituaries are aired weekdays at 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 7:30 p.m. When it's important to reach people, let us help you do so respectfully. Contact our sales team today, 876-630-1210, or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com for more information. Nationwide 90 FM, informing Jamaica with care.
.54 on the clock, wrapping up a discussion on the issue of jury trials and whether or not a joint select committee looking at matters related should recommend to our legislators that we should legislate that these be removed and that judges go it alone where matters are concerned. I have perspectives from Attorney at Laws, Lloyd McFarlane, King's Counsel, Peter Champagny, and John Clark with us. May I ask, gentlemen, well, may I say in the last few minutes here that I've been on platforms like these now for 20 years and some months, and I was counting in my head just now. I've had this conversation about jury trials. Maybe this is the 8th or 9th I've had over time. And I asked myself, well, what has been the missing ingredient? Why the things that have been prescribed by those who know, and these three gentlemen know, what is the missing ingredient based on what they know that has not been in the pot to deliver what we consider to be a fair arrangement where the selection of juries, the service of jurors is concerned? And I must say, gentlemen, the heft of the intellect from persons like yourself, the contributions, have been sorely missing to what our decision makers have contemplated, ruminated on before making their decisions. And that's why we come back time and again having this discussion and we don't have an improved jury system. So I ask you, Lloyd McFarlane, what do you think needs to happen? What do you think you need to do personally to change the reality this time around?
Well, let us start, Joe, with a simple position. There's nothing wrong with the jury system. You have to recognize that this jury system didn't start yesterday and has worked for centuries in so many different jurisdictions that have common law positions. So the fact that we are setting up this joint select committee is not because there is something wrong with jurors delivering verdicts. It is because of the frustration Jamaica is feeling in making the system work properly. We still have to address that if we want to maintain our quality of justice. Do not, George, push it now to say, but why would we want to have these untrained jurors making decisions when in fact we have these highly trained judges? The system was set up so that these highly trained judges would direct the jurors on what is the law to be applied. And those jurors, using 12 of them or whatever is the number, would come to a position based on their total accumulated wisdom.
Yes.
We prefer, in the main, to have that accumulated wisdom in most cases,
yes,
rather than the position of one judge.
So could I prevail upon you to make a submission to the Joint Select Committee to that effect, Lloyd McFarlane?
Well, it's not a simple matter of making a submission.
Yes.
What you've heard my colleagues point out
yes,
is that we have to make what we have worked better.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. And it is as simple as making a submission, because that's how joint select committees work. You go, you make your submission. They may invite you to put some more meat on what you've adumbrated, but that's how it works. That's where it starts. So that's something that needs to happen, John Clark. John? Not there. Casey
Well, I can tell you,
yes.
I and my colleagues in my chambers appeared before the Joint Select Committee of Parliament when the Firearms Act was being reviewed.
Yes.
And we did make the submissions, and we did caution the committee in relation to some of the provisions of the legislation, and we are now feeling the effects of that in a negative way in terms of guilty plea. So I would caution again persons who would be inclined to want to abolish the jury system in its entirety against this.
But can we ask you for a new submission, Council? Can we ask you for a more contribution?
We'll do it again. Done it before and we'll do it again. Done it before and we'll do it again. And I would caution persons who would wish to want to do away with the jury system that is a knee-jerk reaction.
Yes.
And there are other ways to treat with the issues surrounding lack of persons attending for jury duty.
And John, based on what you've outlined this morning, aligning with your colleagues in terms of how you see the system, and listen, just improve this thing, we don't need to abolish it. May I ask, you would consider making a submission to this Joint Select Committee to guide their steps?
Well, I've heard what my colleagues have said, and I'm looking forward to see how the Joint Select Committee literally determine this issue, because my own personal view is still undetermined, because I note in the civil realm we still majority of the cases are determined without jury trials and without any accusation that the quality of justice in the civil realm is lower than the quality of justice in the criminal realm. And in fact, in many cases when I do an appeal and I don't know how the jury determine issues of fact, it is harder in determining that appeal to argue that the jury got it wrong. Whereas when it's a judge alone trial and we have the reasons on paper as to how the judge came to the decision, it is easier to mount an appeal in that respect. So there are pros and cons for the continuation of a jury trial, but why I made reference to the origin earlier was that persons often forget that once upon a time we had judges who were not schooled in the law, and that was one of the reasons why we needed the jury to balance that. Now we have judges who are schooled in the law, but as King's Counsel beautifully pointed out earlier, there are other considerations to bear in mind why there's a plus to still continue the jury system. But one wonders whether and to what extent we need it for all the matters that we currently have, because the other issues that Council McFarlane had made reference to, Senior Counsel, in relation to delays are also countervailing factors that may very well militate against continuing with the system.
I think our listeners are the winners this morning based on what you three gentlemen have said. Thank you very much for the perspectives. Lloyd McFarlane, John Clark, Peter Champagne. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, most welcome. Most welcome.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Food for thought the gentlemen have given. The listeners should do the dishes. Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:01.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Tuesday morning, I'm Tawna Thomas. Marketing strategist Joel Namdarkum says the companies must establish guidelines for their employees on what conduct is appropriate on social media platforms. He was speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday.
these entities, and it's not just JCF because of the subject now, but entities need to be very clear about what type of content they want to represent them online. For those, of course, the social media teams will be privy to create the content and get approval and put it out, but other employees who may want to create the same, and what are the guidelines, and that's where the argument starts and stops. Once you make it to digital, you are you, and as an employee of an organization, no matter what, at the end of the day, you'll still be a representative of that place until you announce that you've changed or you have moved on to somewhere else.
Last week, the Supreme Court ruled that senior officers of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, acted outside their legal powers in sanctioning a woman constable twice over her involvement in a social media video while in uniform. The video, which featured 3 JCF members, was posted on TikTok in January 2024. At the time, it was found to be in breach of the JCF's social media policy. All 3 pleaded guilty to breaching the policy and bringing the JCF into disrepute during internal hearings held in February and March 2024. Namdarkam says public servants must be responsible in their social media posts.
There's an added responsibility where, for instance, if I'm working at a bank or if I'm working at a renowned institution in a specific department that's always public-facing because I decide to use my social media to show off where I work and the social impact I'm doing, and I'm at this meet and greet, I have taken a position to show that I'm affiliated here versus my other colleagues who don't use Facebook and nobody knows them work, so they don't really have much to speak about in the social space. So we have to understand that we do bear that responsibility, because then any little thing was scandalous, you have to hear say you will work this though.
Joel Namdarkam, marketing strategist. Meanwhile, attorney at law Carla Ann Harris Roper says there must be a balance in the personal and professional output of an employee.
I think it's a fine balancing act between making sure that the person is able to enjoy their freedom of expression on the one hand, but do not engage in activities on social media that exposes themselves and, more importantly, their employer to possible liability by their behavior and what they do and say, especially if it impacts negatively on the employer's business.
Carla Harris Roper, attorney at law. She was also speaking on Nationwide at 5 on Monday. And that's it for Across Jamaica.
Jamaica's largest tile selection just got even bigger. Discover what's new at Active Home Center. With our latest arrivals, it's easier than ever to make your space truly unique. Explore ocean blues, botanical greens, and soft sandy neutrals that bring a calm, effortless vibe. From bold patterns to sleek, large format tiles in glossy or matte finishes, every room makes a statement. Shop now at Active Kingston and Montego Bay. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales@nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Standards Matter is brought to you by the Bureau of Standards, making standards work for you.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. It's now time for Standards Matters. In today's fast-moving world, standards matters, and standards are an agreed set of guidelines for how things should be made, measured, or performed. From the food we eat and the water we drink to the buildings we enter and the products we use, standards ensure consistency, safety, quality, and reliability, often without us even realizing it. They ensure the safety, reliability, and quality of the things we're using, the things we're doing, and are a key ingredient for national development, public health, environmental protection, and business competitiveness. For more on Standards Matters today, focusing on the BSJ Quality Institute, we're being joined by the manager of the BSJ Quality Institute at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, Deidre Taylor. Deidre, good morning.
Good morning. And good morning to your listeners.
Yes, good morning to them indeed. How are you, Deidre?
I am great. Happy to hear from you on this very important topic. Standards matters.
Indeed, Deidre. So let's start here. For those out there not familiar with the Institute, if you could talk to us some more about the role of the Quality Institute.
All right, so the Quality Institute over the years has been known as the training arm of the Bureau, but we have actually expanded our focus, and we are tasked with increasing the competence of citizens, specifically in their understanding of the requirements of both our local and international standards. So yes, we do focus heavily on training, but we also help our labs and other, we call them conformity assessment bodies,
yes,
in terms of being prepared for the different assessments that they will need to undergo. So if it is that a lab wants to be accredited to the ISO 17025 standard, and I know you're probably wondering what I'm talking about.
Yes, Deidre.
It's a standard that helps a lab to basically do tests that will be recognized internationally. Similarly, when we help different organizations to be certified to a standard, say ISO 9001, that is one that everyone talks about, which looks at quality management systems, then persons overseas will recognize that you have in place that international standard, as you stated earlier, that is accepted everywhere in the world. So one of the first things persons will ask you for if you want to do business with an international company, do you have a quality management system in place? Do you have any form of management system in place? And then you can say, yes, not only did we get trained in ISO 9001, but we were certified to the standard through the help of the Quality Institute at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica.
So talk to me about a typical day at the Quality Institute.
Wow. A typical day is really receiving many calls, right? I'm trying to separate the roles because we have different persons, some who are undertaking different activities. But my typical day is really sorting through calls to assist clients. Many persons want to export, and as you know, we're a part of the business ministry, so if someone wants to make even a tamarind ball that we're accustomed to, right, from as small as primary school, I have to take those calls and then send them to this department and say, okay, we can assist you with training so that even though this product is being made and sold to supermarkets locally, hey, this product can end up in Walmart because we can give you the training so that you can trade internationally, and that's what the standards allow for. So we inform you in the requirements of the standards so that you can conform to those requirements.
So that's the training aspect of it. So if it is that, going along with the example you've provided, Deidre, that I am making tamarind balls and I want to meet certain standards, what's my first move? Do I call? Do I come in? What do I need to do?
Either. If you call, because we do have clients all over Jamaica, if you call, we are going to walk you through the process. Our division also houses the client services program, which is 100% free, and we have technical advisors who assist you to understand the different requirements in terms of telling you that you'll need to be registered with the National Compliance and Regulatory Authority if it is that you want your business to be registered with the Companies Office of Jamaica, they'll walk you through that part, and then they'll send you to us for training. So one standard training that we offer is good manufacturing practices, right?
Yes.
And that is priced at an affordable rate so that we do not exclude micro and small enterprises. Because as I said before, as a part of the business ministry, we are tasked with ensuring that our citizens can compete globally. Right? So when we field those calls and we help persons, then we can assist them further by hand-holding, and that can take them up to implementation of different certification schemes, and then we hand them over to the National Certification Body of Jamaica for them to be certified.
Okay. And is this in-person, online, both in terms of the training?
So we have 5 different modalities. We have public training that can either be face-to-face here or virtual. That's something COVID allowed us all to benefit from, staying all over the world and attending different sessions. We have on-site, and even though the name may suggest that we come to your establishment, if you don't have a proper training room set up, you can come here to the Bureau of Standards Jamaica or a mutually agreed upon space. Additionally, our on-site trainings can be facilitated virtually, but the good thing about on-site trainings is that they are customized to the needs of the client. So we've actually had clients call us to say, hey, we are dealing with some refrigerants, for example, and we want to know how to manage this safely. We will refer to the standard that speaks to occupational safety and health, and then we will customize that training.
Deidre? Deidre, still on the line? Go ahead.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yeah,
yes.
Pick up from the refrigerators and the standard.
Yes. Yes, so I'm saying if you deal with refrigerants, for example, but you would have gotten training in terms of how the refrigerant itself works, but you don't understand necessarily how to manage your operations in a safe way, then we would certainly refer to the standard that speaks to occupational health and safety, which is ISO 45001, and give you training in that standard so that if you opt to implement that standard in your enterprise, you can go for certification to that standard, which is allowing you to internationally demonstrate that you are serious about occupational safety and health. Just to draw on another example,
yes,
we see a lot of reference about electric vehicles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is being done in the interest of environmental management. Now, if you want to demonstrate globally that you are serious about environmental management, then you would definitely pursue training in the ISO 14001 standard, which is the standard that speaks to environmental management, and certainly that would address different elements related to climate change. So being certified to an ISO 14001 standard, which we can also help you to get that certification, allows you now to speak to different players internationally, because you would have demonstrated that I am fulfilling the requirements of this international standard that people in over 150 countries across the world wrote.
And if you could pick out of a hat all the companies or entrepreneurs who have benefited from the Equality Institute, pick out one example and tell me about that company or entrepreneur who has benefited and is more competitive now on the global market because of meeting those standards.
Well, I mean, I could easily say Grace Kennedy, Jamaica Brothers, and those companies, but I like to speak about the smaller entities that are no longer that small. So, hope I'm pronouncing it properly, Shavot. They do teas, right? And as you know,
yes,
Shavot.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Harris, don't kill me if I pronounce it wrong. Yes, so they would have done training with us. You have other small entities that you don't even see them that much in Jamaica anymore. I mean, the majority of their business is export. So that is something that we boast, being able to help micro and small enterprises to compete globally. So, I mean, that's just 4, but certainly from small to large, we cater to these entities, so much so that if you are very small and you want to register with the JBDC, which is the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, you benefit from 25%. So, I mean, it's an interwoven benefit of the government helping you to get assistance from JBDC, and then getting further discount from the Bureau of Standards because of that alignment.
So let me understand you clearly, Deidre. Are you saying that if the company, the entrepreneur registers, then they benefit from a 25% discount in terms of their training at the Quality Institute?
Not just training, everything at the Bureau of Standards. So when they come to do tests at the lab, which will definitely be required for them to maintain their different certificates, etc., then you get 25% discount. Once you're registered with JBDC, if you're a member of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, it ranges from 20 to 25% because the larger entities, which would be medium enterprises, they would get 20%, and then we give a bigger discount to smaller enterprises. So your micro and small get 25%. And I mean, it's all about building the economy. So in terms of agricultural producers, Jaffa also benefits from 10%, and other entities are encouraged to partner with us so that their members can certainly benefit from the discounts. Because even though we have international experts guiding the students when they attend different trainings here, certainly it is discounted in terms of what we charge them. If they were to enlist these consultants privately, it would cost significantly more. But I guess as a part of their national contribution to national development, they partner with us. I mean, there's a big benefit they get because as a national standards body, only the Bureau of Standards Jamaica can appoint persons to serve on these international committees such as ISO. So when we appoint them to these committees, they are literally at the table writing the standards that are now being implemented in different organizations. So we give them that benefit, and we benefit from getting them at significantly lower rates that we pass on to the public.
And for the discounts that you mentioned, Deidre, this is a long-term initiative, or there's a timeline on when the discounts will end?
No, long term. As long as I've been an adult, I've heard about these discounts, and we are still offering them. Some of them are automatic, so once you submit samples to the different labs here at the Bureau, then the discount is automatically applied. For training services, we require that person submit their letter of membership and authorization from whether it is JMEA or JBDC and Jaffa.
For those out there, they're listening and they're seeking more information in relation to the BSJ Quality Institute. Deidre, where can they find you guys?
All right, so you can go on our website, www.bsj.org.jm, and you can call us here at the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. I'll give my extension, but if they call straight 876-618-1534, the operators are trained to route to the Quality Institute, but they can get me at extension 3474, 3473, 3476, 3475.
Enough extensions, man. So they should be able to get you.
From 3 to 6. 3 to 6.
Very well. Any final words, information that you may have left out, Deidre, that you want to plug in here in relation to the Quality Institute?
Definitely. I want to encourage persons to call us. We know that there are others doing business in the space of offering standards-related trainings, but as a government, we are really experiencing challenges when persons are having difficulty exporting because I must say the standards are pretty prescriptive, but they are difficult to navigate if you're not properly trained. And so don't go elsewhere and get the training and then have difficulty afterwards. And we are not trying to fight out any other training institution. We are also encouraging those persons who wish to offer training, come to us so that you can be properly trained in the standard so that we can truly help in terms of capacity building of our citizens. Right? Also want to plug here that we are the only licensed Safe Quality Food Institute training center in the country. And so if you want to do training in safe quality food, which allows you to export food products everywhere in the world, certainly give us a call so that we can assist you in that journey.
And the number again?
618-1534. And I'm not going to mention all the extensions. Just call 876-618-1534.
There you go. Deidre Taylor, Manager at the BSJ's Quality Institute at the Bureau of Standards. Thank you so much for your time this morning, teacher.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
You too. We're going to take a break here on NTM. After the break, data protection matters.
Standards Matter was brought to you by the Bureau of Standards, making standards work for you.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:22.
Fontana Pharmacy has a wide variety of items from pharmaceuticals, household, cosmetics, toys, and more. The temperature by Fontana Pharmacy, it's all good inside, is
25 degrees Celsius in capital city Kingston, 26 Southwest in Montego Bay, and in Mandeville, 19 degrees Celsius.
Happy New Year and welcome to the first show of 2026. This year, we're starting with a question. Not about resolutions, not about what the future holds, but about the past and what it means for the screen you're probably holding in your hand right now. This is Data Protection Matters, powered by Design Privacy, and I'm your host, Chuko Emeka Cameron. I want to take you back. The year is 1760. The air in Jamaica is thick with sugar and with fear. Taki's rebellion is raging, a war for freedom fought by enslaved Akan people who refused to accept that their lives belonged to someone else. And the colonial authorities, they are terrified. But their greatest fear isn't the violence, it's the communication, the secret, brilliant network of intelligence that flows between plantations, a network they cannot tap, a system they cannot own. They feared the drum, whose rhythms carried messages faster than a horse could gallop. They feared the Abeng horn, whose call could summon an army from the cane fields. They feared the spiritual practices they called Obia, which united people and gave them a shared sense of power beyond what chains could contain. They feared a knowledge system they could not own, a network they could not control, and so they wrote a law. That law, born of fear in 1760, was designed to do one thing: to sever the link between a person and their own knowledge, to declare their inner world, their beliefs, their spirit, their very identity as illegal. It was the first data breach, the original act of informational warfare, an assertion that the most intimate data a person has, their spirit, their knowledge, their sense of self, did not belong to them. That law did not die, it echoed. In 1898 it returned, stronger, more insidious. The new Obia law created something chilling, a reverse burden of proof. If you were found with what they called an instrument of Obia, a feather, a bottle, a piece of chalk, you were presumed guilty. Your identity was the evidence against you, not what you did, but who you were. It echoed again in 1917, Trinidad. The Shouters Prohibition Ordinance. For over 30 years, spiritual Baptists were silenced. Their mode of worship, their song, their spiritual expression criminalized. It echoes today in the seemingly neutral language of noise abatement, a law that so often seems to find its noise in the heart of our communities, in the sound systems that are our modern-day talking drums. For centuries, the logic has been the same. Control the space, control the sound, control the knowledge, control the people. If your culture is deemed too loud, too strange, too powerful, it must be contained. You must be contained. And now, that echo has found a new home. It lives in the machine. You have felt it. Maybe you're an artist. You spend your weeks on a track. You pour your soul into it. You upload it, and it gets flagged hateful content, the algorithm says, because it can't tell the difference between our cultural slang and a genuine threat. Our expression becomes evidence against us. Or maybe it's reused content. Because you sampled a classic rhythm, you participated in the call and response that is the very essence of our musical tradition, and the machine called it theft. This isn't a technical glitch, it's a cultural one. It's the logic of 1898. Your identity as evidence against you, written in code. The platforms will tell you their rules are neutral. Their algorithms treat everyone equally. But who wrote those rules? Who trained those algorithms? Who decides what community standards mean? Not us, not the Caribbean, not the Global South. These rules were written in Silicon Valley, trained on data that doesn't understand our culture, our expressions, our way of being. One of our great Caribbean scholars, Sonia Stanley Nair, teaches us that our culture is a performance geography, a way of claiming space and identity through performance. From the slave ship to the dance hall, we have always created freedom through how we move, how we sound, how we occupy space. But what happens when that performance space is a digital platform, owned by a foreign company, governed by rules written by people who don't understand our performance? We are forced to negotiate with a ghost that speaks the language of terms of service and community guidelines, but whose logic was written in colonial code 260 years ago. A logic that says your expression, your identity, your data is not truly yours to control. Imagine you send a message from your phone, a digital postcard from your home right here in Jamaica. You think it goes directly to your friend down the road or to your family in Trinidad, a straight line, but it doesn't. In a fraction of a second, that message travels along a submarine cable on the ocean floor to a vast coal building in Virginia, or Dublin, or Singapore. And in that building, your digital postcard is subject to another country's law. There's something called the U.S. Cloud Act. It gives American authorities the power to access data stored by American companies, no matter where in the world that data comes from, no matter what your own country's laws say. Your private message, your business communication, your personal photograph, it can be opened and read without a warrant from a Caribbean or Jamaican court, without your knowledge, without your consent. Our data, like our ancestors, is being taken overseas and put to work for someone else. The digital plantation runs on our clicks, our creativity, our connections. We produce the value, they own the infrastructure, they own the data. This is where the old fight and the new fight meet, because what is digital sovereignty? It sounds big, abstract, but it's not. At its heart, digital sovereignty is a sovereignty of the individual. The simple idea that you are the owner of your own information, your data, your identity, your digital self. It belongs to you. We're not powerless in this fight. We have a shield. It is called the Data Protection Act. Our own law, passed right here, built on a principle, the right to informational privacy. It declares that your personal data is yours, not the platforms, not the corporations, not of foreign governments, but yours. The law gives you rights, real enforceable rights. The right to access, to ask any company, what information do you hold on me? Show me. The right to rectification, to demand they correct it if it's wrong. My truth, not your assumptions. The right to erasure, to tell them, delete it. I revoke my consent, my data, my choice. It is a legal declaration that the individual, not the corporation, not the foreign state, is a sovereign of their own digital life. This act is our modern-day response to the logic of 1760. It is a legal shield that protects the sovereignty of the individual, the sovereignty of each and every one of us. That is what this show is about, and that's what this year is about. The echo of 1716 is a machine. The first act of resistance is to hear it. The second is to remember the shield we have built to protect ourselves. And the third is to remember the sound of the drum they tried and failed to silence. This has been Data Protection Matters. I'm Chuka Emeka Cameron. Welcome to 2026. Stay informed, stay protected, and most importantly, stay sovereign.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Hi, I'm Kalila Enriquez Reynolds, and I know a thing or two about smart money moves. Hiring a real estate professional isn't just about houses. It's about hiring someone skilled, competent, and most importantly, licensed. Check with the real estate board before entering into an agreement with a dealer, salesman, or developer. Visit the search register at reb.gov.jm or call the board today at 926-9748-9.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Following Hurricane Melissa, one big question remains on everyone's mind. Where does agriculture stand now? Get the answers straight from the source. Tune in to Cliff Hughes Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as we broadcast live from the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining's press briefing on Tuesday, January 20, 2026. Portfolio Minister Honorable Floyd Green will share key updates on recovery efforts, infrastructure repairs, and the future of the sector post-Melissa. So tune in to Cliff Hughes Online, Tuesday, January 20, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining's press briefing. Log on to our YouTube channel at Nationwide 90 FM Live 2 or catch us on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining. Every day brings its own pressure. Noise, bills, stress. The things that weigh us down and affect our well-being. That's why Nationwide 90 FM has created Wellness, a daily program designed to guide your focus on your physical, mental, emotional, and financial health. Real conversations, trusted experts, practical advice. No judgment and no quick fixes. Just meaningful steps towards better living. Wellness, weeknights from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Only on Nationwide 90 FM. Because progress is a process. It happens one day at a time.
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Tune in to Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Stay ahead of the curve with our cutting-edge reporting and accurate breaking news coverage.
We're having an earthquake. Oh, God.
Hear it here first on Nationwide 90 FM. Tune in, turn up the volume, and listen. We bring a mix of news, entertainment, and sports to your lives.
Nationwide 90 FM's live and continuous coverage of the World Championships in Budapest, Hungary.
News and discussions week mornings.
Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning.
Entertainment in the afternoons, then news again in the evenings.
Nationwide news at this hour. Fired.
Also, tune into the entertainment and sports shows in the nights and on the weekends.
It is Boy Things After Dark right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
Everything is news, from current affairs and entertainment to sports, business, and other categories.
Nationwide 90 FM. This is Beanie Man. Give it to them. Zaga, Zen.
From every whisper to every commotion.
That's rubbish. The KSAMC cannot investigate itself.
Every news story unfolds here first at Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. Every sound is a story, and every story we share is news.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. It's now time for A Healthier You. In A Healthier You this morning, we'll be focusing on glaucoma awareness and care. And we're focusing on glaucoma awareness care. It links to diabetes and the services offered by Ophthalmic Suites in partnership with Roche Diabetes Care. And joining me this morning, or due to join me this morning, Chief Ophthalmologist at Ophthalmic Suites, Dr. Menard McIntosh, and Senior Sales Representative at Roche Diabetes Care, Tara Montague, to hear more about the offerings over there at Ophthalmic Suites and Roche Diabetes Care, to hear about as well the clinical overview of glaucoma. Is there an association between diabetes and glaucoma? Those are the things we'll be talking about this morning in A Healthier You, and the monitoring of it and how important that is. If you do a quick search online, glaucoma is a group of eye conditions damaging the optic nerve, often due to increased eye pressure from fluid buildup, leading to gradual vision loss and potential blindness. But early detection with regular eye exams allows treatments. You can do drops, meds, laser, and surgery to slow or stop progression, though loss of vision can't return. Common types include open angle that's slow or silent, and angle closure, sudden pain. And key risk factors are ages over 60, family history, as well as they're putting here diabetes and eye injury. So we're going to talk about that. On the line so far is Tara Montague, the Senior Sales Representative at Roche Diabetes Care. Tara, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide. How are you, Tara?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Happy Tuesday to you. So, Tara, talk to us about Roche Diabetes Care.
All right. So, Roche Diabetes Care is here in Jamaica. We are distributed exclusively through LASCO Distributors, Pharmaceutical Division. And we like to say better diabetes care starts here, because we have solutions for persons on their journey with diabetes. We have the Accucheck Instant Glucometer, which is dubbed one of the most accurate devices on the market. We're ISO certified with a 10 out of 10 accuracy claim. So typically when you get your results on the Accucheck Instant Glucometer, you can pretty much rest assured that if you were to get a lab result as well, they would be identical, right? And that is the kind of reliable reading you want when you are managing a disease like diabetes.
Is that the only thing that's distributed by Roche Diabetes Care?
No. So we also have the AccuFine pen tips. These are the pen tips that persons who use the insulin pen would screw on their sterile pen tips, single use. And we also have lancets to stick the finger or lance the finger, as we would call it.
Yes.
We have the Safety Pro Uno lancets. Those are excellent for persons who may have a little onset of Parkinson's, so they're a little unsteady with the hands. And persons who are needle averse as well. You're afraid of the needle, you don't like to see it. The Safety Pro Uno is totally disguised, and the needle retracts when you use it, so you never see the needle. And we find, and it's such a gentle stick as well. So we find that sometimes with patients, even when we do testing drives and so on, persons will say, "But you didn't stick me yet," and
you were sticked.
Exactly, and they have to squeeze to see the dot of blood, right? So that's the Safety Pro Uno. We also have our Soft Click lancets. And this now is the one that you load into the pen, and this is what comes with the AccuCheck Instant as a complete set.
Yeah.
Okay? So those are some of the main solutions that we offer.
I love all that you're placing on the table here, Tara, which are products that Jamaicans would be interested in. You said your distribution takes place through LASCO?
Yes, LASCO Distributors, the pharmaceutical division, located on Red Hills Road. But our solutions are available in pharmacies island-wide.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So wherever you are in Jamaica, listeners, YouTubers, you should be able to find the products from Rush Diabetes Care. My producer tells me that Dr. McIntosh is also on the line. Good morning to you, Doc.
Hey.
Dr. McIntosh?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to you. I am hearing you now. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. And talk to us as you get on about ophthalmic suites.
Okay, so ophthalmic suites, which is Dr. Eye Care Technology Center, we are big on diabetes management because diabetes is one of the chronic conditions that affects the eye in very severe ways. And so we offer a whole suite of investigation as well as treatment, from your simple examination to your photography, your fluorescein angiography, your OCT scans for the macula, all the other diagnostics, ultrasounds and so on. We offer that, and we offer the full treatment, full suite of laser therapy, injectables to deal with diabetic complications in the eye, and retinal surgery as well as your common cataract and glaucoma surgery. So we offer the full suite of examination, diagnostics, and surgical treatment, and certainly partner with companies like Rush to manage these diabetic complications, and sometimes to even avoid the complications, with monitoring, examinations, and so on. So we are out there when it comes to eye care.
Yeah, and where can we find your suites?
Okay, we're at 13 Haining Road, units 1 to 4, that's downstairs, 13 Haining Road. And we're also in Linstead, we're in Maypen with some outlying offices, and we have a major surgery center as well in Tower Isle, just outside Ocho.
And what are your opening hours, doctor?
Okay, we're Monday to Friday, routinely 8 to 4, but sometimes our surgical activities takes us into some Saturday morning clinics. But as well, I'm always on call, pretty much, because as a doctor, you're always on call.
Yes, yes. And Tara, if I could come back to you, how has that partnership been with Ophthalmic Suites?
I mean, the partnership in general with ophthalmology has been very fruitful. Persons living with diabetes, they, as you would have mentioned in your introduction, at times they're at a higher risk for certain conditions. And so we just want to use the opportunity to encourage someone living with diabetes right now. If you've never been to an ophthalmologist, I'm pretty sure Dr. Mack would agree with me that you need to visit an ophthalmologist, visit him so you can be screened, because he can address further some of the complications that you can develop, and you want to get at it quickly before it is too late.
And Doc, let's hear you in on that one.
Yes, Tara, you're so correct. Because, as a matter of fact, the diagnosis of diabetes happens very often with the patient noticing sudden onset of blurred vision. All of a sudden, you're just unable to see distance or near. And sometimes it happens within a day, you know. And that is a definite sign of diabetes. And when you check the patient's blood sugar, the ACU check, you find that you're over the limit, whether it's fasting or after a meal. And once the diabetes is controlled and the numbers come down, you find that the vision returns. Sometimes we give temporary glasses for that. Once a diagnosis is made, you have to get your eyes checked annually, especially after 5 years of diabetes, because it's not only a matter of control, but it's also a matter of how chronic the diabetes gets. So after a certain time, 5 years on an average, you have to get an annual check. Certainly after 10 years, you have to keep a close watch, maybe twice a year, because we have to look out for the early changes in the blood vessels in the retina.
Yes.
Which is where it all starts. Once they start leaking or developing little weak areas called microaneurysms, macroaneurysms, little hemorrhages and leaks, it is time to get on with your scans, your regular photography, your fluorescein angiography, and certainly your injections or lasers, because this will avoid getting to the chronic stage where you have what we call proliferative changes, where the blood vessels start to grow out of proportion, because this is in response to poor oxygen supply to the retina.
Yes.
And this is where we get into complications like your complex glaucomas, for example, where you get rubeotic glaucoma, we call it, because these abnormal blood vessels, if not controlled, can grow into the trabecular meshwork area that drains fluid in the front of the eye, aqueous fluid. It sends the pressure up to alarming levels, and it's a painful, blinding condition that's very difficult to control. But at ophthalmic suites, we manage this kind of thing, but it's almost like an emergency if you want to get vision back or salvage vision. So in order to avoid getting there, as Tara said, regular examination, early diagnosis, and just keeping a tab on it can avoid this happening, because early intervention usually can prevent this kind of complication.
So both of you pointing out this morning that important clinical care that needs to take place, but also if you're at home, the important monitors or meters that you need to have to monitor what's taking place while you're at home. And when you do that, you'll be sure to know if it is that you need to visit the suites and get another checkup or some clinical work done there. But a final word from both of you. To you first, Tara, on Roche Diabetes Care, and then over to you, Doc.
Tana, it cannot be overemphasized that there are 4 core principles for diabetes management. And we would have stressed on self-monitoring heavily this morning.
Yes.
And it is one of the 4. It is very important. So the other 3 are medication compliance. You need to take your medication. And some of them, we agree, may have side effects. But this is where you advocate for yourself. You talk to your doctor. You let them know, the issues you're having. And maybe there is an alternative, right? So you want to be taking your medication, you want to have proper nutrition, and I did not use the word diet, because when we say diet, persons tend to freeze up and they feel like the world is over. Proper nutrition under the guidance of your doctor or diabetes educator will go a far way. You have to understand and appreciate carbohydrates. Thirdly, you need some movement. I did not send anyone to the gym. I simply said we need to move our bodies. At home, go for a walk. And last but not least, right where we started, self-monitoring. This is what ties it all together. And please don't forget those 4 core principles for good diabetes management.
And Dr. McIntosh?
Yes, I'm not going to reiterate what Tara said. I'll just add to it by saying, although she says that carbs are necessary, I think Jamaicans just eat too much carbs. You don't have to have 5 pieces of food with breakfast and whatnot. So you need to manage that very carefully. And as she said, certainly with the exercise or movement. But I must say in closing that diabetes oftentimes doesn't exist in isolation. Most of these patients also are hypertensive. They are not only hypertensive, they also have cholesterol issues, dyslipidemia. And I call it that triad of chronic illnesses that when they exist together potentiate each other. So you have effects even in the eyes and in the body, in the limbs, in the digits, from the hypertension coupled with the diabetes and then coupled with the lipid abnormalities. They spell trouble and they exist very often together. So we have to be mindful that each has to be controlled and together when all the monitoring happens and the control and the diet and the lifestyle changes, then it works better for your vision. And also, we need to remember that the serious vision effects from diabetes mirrors what happens in the kidneys. So most of these patients end up on dialysis. So it's not all about your eyes. What happens in the eyes will tell what happens in the brain and the kidneys. And so it's very important that your doctors insist on you patients, or you can insist to yourself that you have your eyes checked, because this can tell a lot.
Yes. Dr. Minard McIntosh, Chief Ophthalmologist at Ophthalmic Suites and a Senior Sales Representative at Roche Diabetes Care, Tara Montague. Both of you, thank you so much for your time.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. That's been it for Healthier You. We take a break now, and when we come back, your birthdays.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:53. Time of the morning when we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. This one says Morgan, see bright, strength, depth, bold, resilient, and always moving forward. Lee, meadow, peaceful, open space of growth, beauty, and light. Dearest Morgan Lee, your name perfectly describes the woman you've become, a mix of the vast, adventurous sea and the calm openness of a beautiful meadow. You possess a depth and strength that inspires everyone around you. You have the resilience of the tides and the grace and beauty of a beautiful sunlit meadow in bloom. On this your special day, may you continue to sail towards your dreams with courage and find beauty in every quiet moment along the way. May your year be as bright and boundless as the meaning of your name. We are extremely blessed and proud of the incredible person you are. We love you beyond words and will always remain the wind beneath your wings. Happy birthday, beautiful, from Mom and Dad, Lizette and Christopher. You're also happy birthday greetings from your Auntie Carlene, Daniel, Gabriel, Grandma, and Auntie Ronnie. Happy birthday to your very own Morgan Lee, celebrating your birthday today. Wishing for you a great one. This one says, I'm not sure if we did this one, but if we did, I'm doing it again. Belated happy birthday to Sean Harris. affectionately known as K. Sean Harris, author and editor at LMH Publishing. Good morning to the LMH Publishing family. We truly appreciate his creativity, editorial expertise, and dedication to storytelling. His contributions continue to strengthen the quality of our work, and we wish him a year filled with success, inspiration, and new creative achievements. We also want to say a warm belated happy birthday to Ray Saunders, one of our valued team members at LMH Publishing. We thank him for his dedication, hard work, and commitment to the team. We wish Ray a fantastic year ahead, filled with prosperity, happiness, and continued success. Belated happy birthday to you both from the LMH Publishing team. And this one says, happy birthday to Charmaine Newsome from your husband Glendon, your children Carol and Cadian, and your grandchildren Wimi and Tommy. Hope I'm pronouncing their names right. So happy birthday to you, Charmaine Newsome. And over on Facebook, Debbie Newton, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday as well to Natasha McCullough Davis, Chosen Christian, Tamara Roden, Shanique Cohen, Sharnett Chin, and Vivelin Satchel Silvera. Happy birthday to you as well. And these birthdays, DSP Cecile Williams at the National Police College of Jamaica. It's your birthday. Happy birthday, DSP Williams. Happy birthday as well to Aldane Seaton and Janelle Morgan, Faith Morgan. It's your birthday. Happy birthday. All of these are coming from Sergeant Wayne Wallace. Quickly hopping on over into the YouTube chat. I did see a birthday here from Katie Buello. Where did it go? If you could drop it back real quick, Katie. And I'm seeing one here from Larston Smith. Happy birthday greetings to Lindsay, one of our favorite cousins. Greetings coming from Bigga, Glenna, Mikey, Miss Shirley, and the rest of the family. Happy birthday to you. And Sonia Campbell sending happy 71st birthday to my other half. She says, my best friend, Darrington Pettigrew. I wish for you a day filled with joy, peace, and lots of love. Dinner and movie later. And she's asking if we could play Anita Baker, Same Old Love. If we could close with that one, Damien. And Dwayne Samuel says, happy birthday to big sister Maria Smith in England. A happy birthday to you, Maria. Have an awesome day. And Martin sending happy birthday. That's Sylvia Martin sending happy birthday wishes to a friend, Mr. Stanford Allen at Effort in Clarendon. Enjoy your day, my friend, she says. So if you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If it's your anniversary, happy anniversary as well. Final birthday here as we go. Katie Buello, I'm seeing your birthday now. She says, happy birthday to my niecey, Nikki Goodness and Mercy. Rather, Nikki. And then she says, goodness and mercy all your life must surely follow you. Enjoy your day. Auntie loves you. So again, happy birthday to Nikki, Katie Buello's niece. Goodness and mercy all your life must surely follow you, Nikki. Happy, happy birthday to you. So that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning, NTM, the big show. Thanks so much to our technical operators this morning, Jermaine King and Damien Cunningham, or super producer Michelle McCrae Smith. And thanks as well to George, who had to step out. So up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tana. Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
All I wanna do is keep on loving you. I want the same old love.
Fearless and fair. Nationwide 90 FM.
JIS